you for the last hour. Let's give you a live look. Oh guys, this is the only shot I have up right now. It's a Pfizer forum, and as I've been making, kind of maybe coping with humor jokes all week that maybe too soon following the news of the trade of Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Miami Heat. We've actually got a pretty exciting interview lined up for you later this afternoon, talking with somebody who had cancer and his Make-A-Wish wish was to meet Giannis Antetokounmpo, and now years later, he's now an adult, is actually following his dream and is a coach at UW La Crosse. So super excited to bring you that interview right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Let's take a look at some of your other cameras. This is our modern shot. Overcast today a little bit. Hopefully the sun will peek out a little. You can see 60 degrees. We're a lot chillier today. Wouldn't even think that it's almost the end of June here. Here's American Family Field ahead of a big matchup this weekend. We've got Brewers-Cubs. Very, very exciting there. I'm sure there will be a big turnout and hopefully some good tailgate weather for later today. And then this is, I was wondering, our Estabrook Park camera just kind of showing the overcast there of the clouds moving in. Again, taking a look at some live feeds, seeing what I can bring you. But for now, let's take you to some of the top stories that we're following today. The first had a lot of chatter today in our editorial meeting this morning. It was about a shooting at a wedding, actually, and now the search is on for the suspect. A 41-year-old man is accused of hurting two people during a wedding reception. This happened back on June 20th, so last week. Court records show an arrest warrant was issued for Thomas Williams, so that is the man that police are looking for. And the fight began over meatballs. This is a very interesting case that we've been following here. I'm going to actually open up one of our articles to just dive into the details a little bit because, again, this was all the buzz in our morning meeting today just because of how peculiar, I guess, if you will, the situation is. So yeah, first responders were called to the scene near 56 in Fond du Lac, where a 35-year-old and a 39-year-old were found suffering gunshot wounds. They were transported to the hospital. We did have crews at the scene, as you can see from the live picture or the photo right there, just showing that FOX6 News saw police entering Area Business Center, or ARIA, where witnesses told our crews that the wedding occurred there. So according to the criminal complaint, one of the victims told police she was in the kitchen area when she saw a groomsman, later identified as Williams, who is the man police are looking for, eating meatballs with his hands. She told him to use a plate and said Williams then punched her. Her brother-in-law intervened and got into a fight with Williams before she heard a gunshot. So yes, you heard that right. This all started because of meatballs, because somebody was eating them with their hands. I'm trying to picture what that would look like. Whether it was like in a crock pot. I've had like crock pot meatballs before, and usually my mom will serve them with like a side of toothpicks. So yeah, she told him to use a plate, said Williams then punched her. Seems like this escalated very, very quickly. The court filing said the other victim told police he hit the groomsman because he saw him hit his sister-in-law in the face. He said he heard a gunshot during the fight and felt pain in the back of his neck. The bride told Milwaukee police she also witnessed the fight and shooting and saw a man leaving. She got into a fight with him while preventing him from getting into his car. And then the bride was able to recover Williams's key fob and then gave that to the police. But then Williams, of course, ran away. Not in a car. It looks like he just ran out. So yeah, it's unclear how seriously the victims were hurt, but yes, a warrant is out for Williams' arrest. So yeah, very peculiar case here that Milwaukee police are investigating. Again, this is an active search for the suspect right now. And this shooting happened last weekend, actually. So interesting thing there. We're going to bring you the very latest once we get it. Our Bill Misson is actually covering that story today. We're hoping to get him on to just kind of hear about what he's learned since that shooting happened and now that a warrant is out for the man's arrest. Another big thing that we're following is a local pharmacy opening a second location. It's Experience Pharmacy. It's opening at 76 and West Marion, and it comes as we've been covering a series of national chain pharmacy closures, especially Walgreens, ones that we've been covering over the past year. Several of them have been closing. The northwest side of the city had at least 3 pharmacies shut down within 3 months, leaving many without a place to get their medication. The pharmacy is set to open tomorrow at 2 p.m., so just another option for those of you in that area who might have to pick up medication or were affected by, the recent closures. I know a Walgreens pharmacy actually closed, 27th and North relatively recently. So as one closes, hopefully that brings some relief for customers as another opens up, especially if you do have medication that you need, that you're in dire need of. So Walgreens location in the city shut down on the north side. That was the 8th store to close in the city in recent years. And again, we've seen firsthand how this has affected people. We've gone to these locations, interviewed people, just talking about how they don't know what they're going to do. Some people don't have cars or ways of transportation. They relied on just walking there. So this will hopefully bring some of that relief. Again, we do have this article on our website, fox6now.com, if you're interested in maybe going to this pharmacy now or making this your go-to as well. I'm going to take a look at some of the live feeds we got here, see what we can bring you right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. But for now, we're going to take a quick break, reset, but we'll be right back in 2 minutes. Stay with us.
Wisconsin Live Desk.
12:08 on your Friday afternoon. Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. I'm your host, Maddie Stelk, taking you all the way to 2:30 here on the Live Desk, and then Sam Kramer's got you from there. Taking a look at some of our live feeds right now. We're actually going to take you to Washington, where a conference is underway. The Faith and Freedom Coalition hosting the Road to Majority Conference. Again, President Trump is expected to speak and is there in D.C. right now. Let's listen in.
With 3 other Secret Service agents there, randomly. And we decided we were going to go back. We were going to go back to the World Trade Center site again. And at that moment, we said we're going to form 2 search parties. And we asked for volunteers. And the civilians in that bank lobby looked at the top of their shoes. But a handful of citizens stepped forward. And we deployed as 2 groups out into the gloom looking for survivors. And all we found were bodies. At that point, me and 3 other Secret Service agents commandeered this fire truck. There's this fire truck in the middle of the intersection that wasn't being used. And it was undamaged. I have no idea how. You see, because the professional firefighters were gone. 343 of them erased. And we figured out how to turn on the hose. And we got water pouring out of out of this fire truck, we just started putting out all the fires that were around us. And several citizens came and said, what can I do to help? You see what I mean? There's a difference, citizens and civilians. Later that day, at the very end, I hopped on a boat. I left Manhattan. I rode across the Hudson River to Hoboken, New Jersey, where I lived, to reunite with my young wife. I was part of the great 9/11 boat lift, right? On that day, 500,000 people were evacuated off of Manhattan Island in 9 hours. Do the math. How is that possible? The citizens heard the call and they answered the bell. Coast Guard call went out and said, any boat willing to help the evacuation of Lower Manhattan, please report to Governor's Island forthwith. And 150 vessels of all kinds responded. 600 pilots, captains, sailors, citizens responded. Now there's a higher calling above citizen, I think, in my opinion, guardians. Guardians are ones who administer justice, establish order, and keep us safe. They're our first responder community. I want to honor them. It's a higher calling that not all are called to. But I know this, 422 of them died on September 11, 2001. And I saw the best of the best respond to the danger, run to the guns, and they were valiant to their final breath. There's another higher calling as well, the warriors. Yeah. After 9/11, our warriors went to work. They went downrange in places like Afghanistan and Syria, Libya, Iraq, to fight the fight there so the enemy could never bring the fight back here. And I'm forever indebted to them. George Orwell once said that we sleep peacefully at night because rough men stand ready to do violence on our behalf. And that's true. Because contrary to what your mommy may have told you, sometimes violence is the answer. Why? Because evil doesn't stop when you ask nicely. Now, above that, we got citizens. We have guardians. We have warriors. But we are citizens of heaven. That's a higher calling. We are citizens of heaven. We are not, let me be clear, we are not civilians waiting for heaven. We are citizens of heaven here, right now, doing God's work. Some Christians see Jesus as just their Savior, and they spend their days just waiting for salvation. Not us, not you, not me, not today. We are citizens of heaven, right now. How can we be good citizens of our nation and also citizens of heaven at the same time? It's very easy. We fight for our nation by serving our Lord. Let me give you 3 quick ways on how we can best do that as citizens of a republic and as citizens of heaven. Number 1, it is God's will. Evangelism is the will of God for each and every believer. When the first tower collapsed on September 11th, it almost got me. I was really close. I'm running, and large chunks of debris are falling all around me. And then the lights just went out. I couldn't see, but I'm still running. Large chunks of debris falling everywhere. And then a few strides later, I'm out of the kill zone. I'm out of the kill box. And I see this strange thing out of my left eye. I see sunlight. Sunlight. And so I run across the street, and I'm looking north up a very narrow alley. At the other end of that alley is sun. And so I just turned around because all I could hear was screams and cries in the darkness. I turned around and I started yelling at the top of my lungs. Follow the sound of my voice. Come this way. There is light this way. Come towards me. I will show you the light. And I say that not to elevate myself. I say that is our calling, metaphorically, as Christians in this world, as citizens of heaven. To be the man, to be the woman, standing in the alley, pointing people to the light of life. Jesus said, I am the light of the world. Those who follow me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. We are a city on a hill, a light that should not be hidden. Let your light, Jesus says, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to God who is in heaven. You want to know, how do I serve and fight for my nation while serving my God? What does it look like? Go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to obey all that I have commanded you. That's called being the man, being the woman, standing in the alley, pointing people to the only light that matters. Secondly, a citizen of heaven fights the battle at home.
Right now, we're listening live into a conference in Washington, D.C., hosted by the Faith and Freedom Coalition. Again, President Trump is expected to speak. When he does, we will bring that to you right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. But for now, let's give you a live look quickly at American Family Field. Roof is open ahead of a big matchup this weekend, Brewers versus Cubs. And there's a new activity that you can take part in right here at American Family Field. Andrew Muzu's got that story when we come back right after a short break. Stay with us.
Wisconsin Live Desk.
It's Friday, you guys. Let's give you a live look again at American Family Field. Roof open. Even though it's 61 degrees, kind of chilly, but hopefully things will warm up in just a bit. We're going to check in with one of our weather experts with your forecast. But yeah, roof open at American Family Field, you guys. It's the end of June, so honestly, I would hope so. Ahead of a big matchup tonight, Cubs versus Brewers. Again, the Brewers hoping to make it a twofer and sweep the Cubs once again. And if you do plan on going to the game tonight, you might want to stop by something outside of the ballpark because there's a new exciting event area that just opened, some activities that you can take part in. Andrew Muzu's there right now. Oh, that's not Andrew. Let's see what we can get here. That's Andrew. Andrew, tell us all about it.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, UW Credit Union Plaza. Remember the name. You said you might want to stop by here. I think you should stop by here because this is what's taking AmFam Field to the next level. I mean, not too many ballparks across the nation have a mini golf area, a play yard over there with a gigantic cow named Cow Friend at the moment, and then a beer garden and food trucks. Like, how many ballparks have something like that, Haley? I'll ask you that first. How many? I don't know how many ballparks have you been to, Haley? I haven't been to too many, so I haven't seen this.
I haven't been to many. I mean, Andrew, we're both.
This is Maddie.
Oh yeah, it's Maddie.
Oh, that's Haley.
Did you think I was?
Oh, Maddie.
I was. It's okay. I was like, wait, what did he say, Maddie? No, I haven't been to too many ballparks. I mean, I've been to Wrigley. I am from the Chicago area, but yeah, we don't have.
That's right.
Wrigley does not have anything like this. This looks awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and we've had a blast all morning long. You didn't even mention Rate Field where the White Sox play. So
Oh,
I mean,
I have
that's,
been
that,
there too.
that
I have
alone
been
doesn't
there
even
too.
have anything. Okay.
But
there
yeah,
we
you're
go.
right. It doesn't.
Well,
So.
we're joined. Right, exactly. So we're joined here by Mike with the Brewers, and we've been here all morning long. We've been in the play yard. We've been here, and even during this hit, we'll even do a little bit more putt-putt. I know you like golf, don't you?
I enjoy golf. I can't say I'm good at it, but playing with you, it's been a lot of fun this morning.
Of course. And part of the fun is because we're here at the Plaza. Can you sort of just run down what makes this really a special place? Today's the grand opening.
Yeah, today's the grand opening. It is going to be a special place that our fans can congregate, come to before the game. We're bringing the tailgate onto the grounds here, whether you want live music, DJ, there's going to be food here, there's going to be entertainment, and you know, you've got the beer garden as well. So if you want to sit down and have a beer before the game, you can have it here. And it's also a place that you can bring your family, right? So you've got the Joy Playground, you've got the giant cow 17 feet high, you've got the mini putt. There's something for everyone, and we just feel like this is a really good use of space and to make this as much of a destination for families and fans as we possibly can make it.
For sure. Destination for them, but also you're highlighting different destinations across Wisconsin, AmFam Field, the history of it. And throughout this hit, we'll do sort of like a hot potato type of thing. We'll have you, where should we start? Should we start at the racing sausages right here? We'll have Mike over here. But as we do this, you're even rocking the sneakers too, I see. Remind us how... I don't know. I think this is a limited edition type of sneaker, right?
It is limited edition. Watch how I get a hole-in-one with the limited edition sneakers.
Oh,
it's all the shoes.
Okay.
It's the shoes. These are our City Connect sneakers, limited edition. We put out a limited run. We still have some. We're doing pop-ups all across the state, and they've been really popular. I mean, they're our City Connect colors. They're really cool, and nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
You're also wearing a shirt that people can also look forward to as well.
We are, yeah. So. This Wednesday, we play against the Cincinnati Reds. It's also our celebration of America's 250th anniversary. So with the purchase of a special theme night ticket, you actually get this cool shirt. So that's going to be really popular. That same game on Wednesday, we have post-game fireworks, which is going to be a lot of fun. And before the game, we're also giving away 30,000 mini American flags. We're going to have a flyover before the game, weather permitting, of course. But it's going to be a really special celebration. And so you're going to want to come down the ballpark next Wednesday against Cincinnati. Let's go Brewers.
For sure.
Yeah.
A lot of things to look forward to. Is there a favorite station that you have here at the this area, the mini golf area? I think mine, and I'm going to take my ball over to the Hone Bridge here because I think that's just really cool. And I heard that there's going to be some lights as well. And as
let me hold that for you. I got
hold
you.
this. I think the cord should be long enough.
Sure.
I just want to hold that part.
I love this collaboration right now, Andrew.
Full teamwork and skill.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yes,
great
Maddie,
teamwork.
we're making it happen right now. And not only are we making this happen, we're going to make this putt happen as well.
Exactly.
Oh, he's got a lot of talk. Let's see if he makes it.
No, what the
Oh.
heck? No, wait, Maddie. Wait, Maddie, it's windy out here.
I think he gets a
Oh,
mulligan
yeah,
on
let's
that
blame
one.
the wind. Okay, Andrew.
Wind.
We'll give it to
It's
him.
the wind.
It is kind of into the wind.
It's something like that. But here we go, Maddie. Disregard that first one. There we go.
Okay. Oh.
Oh,
If
Bounce
it
off.
goes in, if
And
it
it's gonna go
goes
in.
in.
Oh,
So
okay, it was
close.
close.
Good shot.
Do you want to sort of explain what else? We have the play yard as well. Any cool features with that area? Too?
Yeah, so I mean, we had an obstacle course competition earlier, Andrew. Like we had a lot of fun there. So lots of places for kids to climb and congregate. A big ladder, a huge couple slides, but really the showpiece is that giant cow. It arrived on a flatbed truck in 6 different pieces. It's 17 feet high. It's got a rock climbing face on the side. I'll drop my golf club there. It's got places that you can climb within and up, and then there's a slide on one side as well. So I think that's going to be the showcase, the showpiece of the space.
There's some bumps too.
Just a lot of fun. There is. In fact, I even tried climbing the rock climbing face here earlier on as well, and I was able to do it. Did I?
Yes.
Didn't
you
feel
did.
easy. I think I was winded after.
Oh my gosh. Well, let me see this real quick. I'll
Okay.
take this, and we'll actually have you.
I'll do it.
I think wait, Gabby's walking off. Wait, Gabby, I think we're gonna showcase. Oh, Gabby's going through. Oh wait, she's going. at least you get the scenic route of what you guys are seeing here. And this is our little cow friend. Actually, do you want to go down the slide here? Because this is a really cool mechanism. There's different rock climbing parts of this. And then now Mike is going to show you. Obviously, this is for people ages 5 to 12. None of us fit that category. But it's really cool to be able to, showcase everything. Woo! And that was so smooth. Yeah, that was so exactly. Right? Yeah. So, Maddie, I don't know how long this live it is supposed to be, but can I tell you that we've only been through like half of this plaza. There's a beer garden, and they're still doing some finishing touches with it as well. There's going to be TV screens. One of the Brewers employees even told me that would be a perfect place for the postseason as well. Maybe do some parties as well. So some recommendations there, but also some food trucks too, Maddie.
That's really cool. I like to see that they're kind of building community outside of the ballpark because there's such a great community in it already. I want to ask, why now have they been saying, like, why now for the elevation? What was the vision? And, we're already a little bit into the season. Has this been in the works for a while?
Yes, I was actually told that around spring training time, or even just April, the mid part, early springtime, that's really when they put shovels in the ground and really started to build this thing out. So it's really been that type of progress. But I do want to ask you that question. We're saying, why now? Why do you believe that now is the right time to open something up like this? Is it just because the Brewers are doing really well and the numbers are looking good, or what?
No, I mean, we're always looking at improvements, enhancements, ways that we can make the stadium experience more family friendly and attract more people here. So it's not just this, but we're constantly looking at ways that we can expand and improve on the different offerings and experience. So when we looked at this space, it's a place where people come over the bridge and come to our game originally. So it was like a blank slate for us. So we really saw some opportunity, and then combine that with doing some best practice research with other teams, other leagues, on what they have. We wanted to make ours first class and best in class. So there's really never a better time than now, right? So we saw the opportunity. We have great partners in UW Credit Union. They helped make this happen, and we're grateful for it. And so, we're pleased to launch this today.
Yeah, and this weekend, kicking off Cubs-Brewers.
Yes.
You even talked about earlier in the morning how much this rivalry means not only to the city, but to this area, especially with the perfect timing of this plaza opening up too, welcoming in not only Brewers fans, but also Cubs fans too.
Yeah, I mean, the stadium's going to be packed all weekend. It's going to be sold out all 3 games, starting tonight through Sunday. So what better way to launch a new space like this than having 41,000 people at every game? So the Cubs are our biggest rival, and the Brewers are playing awesome. The team loves it when we have a full building of cheering Brewers fans, backing them up and giving them inspiration. They've told us that. And so I know the next three games, they're going to be giving it on behalf of the Brewers and cheering our boys on. So it's going to be a really special 3 days, and of course into next week against the Reds as well.
For sure, yeah. And believe it or not, I spoke with Visit Milwaukee a couple days ago, and they mentioned, yes, the Cubs, Brewers, that's a great rivalry, historic. They said that the Cubs fans are honestly some of the best visitors for Milwaukee because they take advantage of the different attractions across town. Yep. They really contribute to the economic impact, tourism boost as well. And I know they'll also take advantage of this space too. So definitely an exciting day for sure. I don't know if you had the times or not, but reiterate the times of the ribbon cutting, all those things too.
Ribbon cutting is at about 4:15 this afternoon. Normally we'll be open a couple hours before every game, an hour and a half to 2 hours. But today's going to be really special. So you want to get here if you want to see the ribbon cutting happen and the official opening and get the first kids on top of these areas at about 4:15 or so. So it's going to be a great afternoon. Weather looks like it's nice and clear, warming up. It's going to be a great night for baseball. Yeah, it
was a chilly morning for sure. So, Maddie, got all the information right there.
Yeah, and roof open, so hopefully it'll warm up just a little bit for tonight's game. Andrew, I want to ask for parents who might be curious too. Is the beer garden open until the end of the game, or does it kind of follow suit with inside the ballpark where things start to shut down as the later innings get underway?
The beer garden, is it open for the entire game, or does it start to trickle off? They want fans to start moving into the stadium.
I think the plan is to keep it open through the second inning, and then we'll close it down. So it'll be open like an hour and a half to 2 hours before. We're going to find that sweet spot, and then keep it open through the start of the game. But of course, people want to be inside to cheer on the team.
Yeah, that's why you came here.
And
right?
about the second inning feels like the right time. So again, we'll see how the programming works and tweak from there. But that's the plan.
Yeah, and you've even mentioned throughout the morning that this isn't necessarily the final product. There's still a lot more things to be added, whether it's the beer garden or maybe adding a couple more things to the mini golf.
Absolutely, yeah. There's lots of great space here, right? Okay. So we're going to see how our fans use it, where they tend to congregate, how busy the beer garden is. Do we need to expand it? Do we need to have more picnic tables? So a lot of this is, from an organizational standpoint, we want to do a lot of listening. We want to understand, okay, how are our fans enjoying the amenities, aspects of the ball game experience, and then take that learning and then tweak accordingly. So we're just looking forward to seeing this activate for the very first time tonight. If you don't have your tickets, come on down because it's going to be an amazing atmosphere, and we'll of course change things up as needed as we go.
For sure.
Yeah.
Got it right there, Maddie.
Very good to know and noted. So more of a pre-game spot rather than like a during the game type of vibe. We'll love that, and I'm sure parents will love that too, to let their children get the energy out before headed into the ballpark. Andrew, thanks so much for joining us here on the live desk. We're going to take a quick break, and also if you're interested in maybe getting tickets for that, it's all of the info on our website, fox6now.com. You can find Andrew's story and maybe go to the game tonight. It's not super warm out, but maybe you like that, a chillier baseball game with a breeze. We'll see if they keep the roof open and get a check with one of our weather experts shortly. But when we come back, we're talking Summerfest, another big thing happening in Milwaukee this weekend. Stay with us. We'll be right back after a short break.
Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. I'm your host, Maddie Stelk. 12:30 on your Friday afternoon. Happy Friday, everyone. Let's give you a live look from our downtown tower camera. A bit of overcast here, but no rain in the forecast for now. We're sitting pretty in the 60s, actually, which you might be thinking is a little cold for summer. But honestly, if you're headed down to the Summerfest grounds, I prefer not being super sweaty and hot when I'm going to a concert. So honestly, if that's your vibe too, this might be the perfect weekend to go down before things start to heat up this week. We're joined by Jared Woods now, Senior Director of Marketing at Summerfest. Jared, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you. And I'm with you. I will take the cooler weather over hot weather all day.
That's the thing, yeah, because if you're surrounded, I mean, I was at Ed Sheeran last night at the amphitheater, and I'm
Oh,
like
yeah.
shoulder to shoulder GA lawn. I'm like, if it was really warm right now, I don't know how well I would do, but it was like the most beautiful night. So hoping for the same thing for the rest of the weekend. Jared, I want to ask you, let's just kind of run through the lineup first that we've got, because starting with the amphitheater tonight, actually, we got Jesse Murph and Cody Johnson. Just kind of talk about the process of getting these artists here for this weekend.
Yeah, you know, for us, we're obviously, like you said, kicking off weekend 2 with Ed Sheeran was unbelievable. The fact that we were able to get him in the first place when he's playing stadiums all over the country, and then
Yeah.
he chose to come and play in Milwaukee at Summerfest was a huge deal. So what a way to start the weekend. But yeah, Cody Johnson, incredible country artist. He has special guest Jesse Murph, who's also an up-and-coming female country, kind of leans in the pop genre too. So they're going to put on a great show in the amphitheater. And then obviously everyone knows Post Malone. That's one of the shows I'm most excited for. So I cannot wait to see Post. I know he's going to be playing his old stuff, plus mix in some of his country. So it should be a really, really fun weekend.
Yeah, I also want to go back to Ed Sheeran too, because I know you were saying, and we were even talking to Julie, who's also at Summerfest too, just kind of talking about how Ed Sheeran was such a good get. Talk about why you guys were able to get him.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, obviously, you know, when we've been around for 58 years and we have such a good reputation as a music festival, not only obviously in the music industry, but then with artists and their agents, and, you know, artists want to come and play here. So for us, it ended up working out perfectly where, you know, we were able to fit right in Ed's routing on his stadium tour. And Ed wanted to come back. He headlined the amphitheater earlier on in his career, but it's probably been about 10 years or so. So he was excited to come back. And, you know, obviously he is such an incredible performer. You know, he doesn't have this crazy production, but what he does, like in his new album title, his loop tour, he does everything by himself on stage. And if you weren't there last night, I highly recommend going to check him out at some point, because he puts on an awesome show.
It was insane. The loop. I don't think a lot of people know about that. He had no, I mean, at one point he brought out a band, but for majority of it, it's just him like doing all of the production and then putting it on a loop, and it sounded amazing in the amphitheater. For anybody watching right now, just going to any concert there, the acoustics are fantastic. Did you actually go last night?
I did, yeah. I popped
Okay.
in there for a minute. I have never seen Ed Sheeran before, so I had to go in and check him out. And yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things too. We're so lucky, the fact that we have an incredible 23,000 amphitheater, and we're able to still put in these stadium level shows because of the changes that we made kind of around 2020 and 2021, where we raised the roof and did the construction on it. You know, it's incredible because, you know, sometimes those artists like Ed Sheeran who have this huge production may not be able to come in. So we're really, really lucky, and it's cool because you get to see these massive artists in more of an intimate setting than you would normally if they're playing in an NFL stadium.
No, absolutely. And you were mentioning too just how things have evolved over the years. Talk about that, because I feel like things are only ramping up at Summerfest as far as what you can do, who you can see. What's that process been like?
Yeah, so for us, I mean, obviously, I think for us, we're always excited about the music. Music is obviously at our core. And I think what I love so much about Summerfest is the fact that it really caters to everyone. I'm a huge music fan. I obviously lean towards certain genres, but when you can come down on a single night like tonight, you can see the Revivalists, you can see Group Love, you can go see Louis Tomlinson from One Direction, you can go and see Elderbrook, who's kind of like an EDM artist. I mean, Marcus King Band, one of my favorite musicians. He is an incredible blues rock artist. Awesome, because you get to literally experience all your favorite music all in one night or throughout the entirety of the festival. So for us, the music is obviously at our core, but we offer so much more than that too, which is what's so great about Summerfest. We have a ton of different experiences, different food options. You know, one experience that I absolutely love is our American Family Insurance House. It's a really unique setting that we have right inside the Midgate, where you can actually go and see some of our headlining artists play an intimate acoustic set. So Group Love is doing that today. So that's one of those opportunities. And you can also go and create free merch. They have photo opportunities, everything like that. So there's so much more that fans can enjoy even beyond the music as well.
And Jared, I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit, so forgive me, but I feel like you are the expert to ask for this question. Say I'm watching right now, I've never been to Summerfest. Map out like the perfect day at the grounds for me, if you can.
Yeah, so I think for me, the one thing I always tell people is not only plan ahead, but also come early, because there is so much to do and see. I mean, we have so many, like I said, the food in the first place, the fact that we have so many awesome local food vendors on our grounds. Today is a great day to come down and experience that because we actually have Children's Fest Day. So all patrons between noon and 3 get in for free. But then we also have a bunch of various items on the grounds at all of our different vendors that actually are discounted pricing specifically to make sure, families when they're coming down that they can, get as much as food that they need for their family. So it's one of those great days to go and try a bunch of different stuff. But I think also too, one thing I would say is just hop around, make a plan in advance. Obviously know who you want to see. You're probably going to have a headliner in the evening, but I have discovered even myself so many of my new favorite bands by just going from stage to stage throughout the day and going to listen to new music because you may stumble upon something that you're not even familiar with, but then they may be your new number one in your playlist.
I was going to say, I and one of my friends thought this was a crime that I didn't know the Marcus King Band, who I am going to see tonight, actually. I'm super excited about that.
Oh, great.
But yeah, I was just listening in the car and I was like, wait, they're actually really good. Like I didn't, that's the thing is you just go around and you can discover so many different artists. I want to ask just kind of about ticket sales and things like that. How have the numbers been this year? What have you guys been seeing trending towards certain artists? Are you guys still hoping to sell more for others? What's that been like?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, more than anything, it's like my favorite part about the festival is just seeing our fans having fun. That is what we look forward to every year. It's one of those things where obviously, we started planning for this year's festival prior to the end of 2025. And we're doing the same thing already, working on 2027 before we're through 2026. So for me, when it comes to, obviously, we have obviously had, so far, we've had great weather, which is awesome. We've had so many fans come out. And the fact that we have so many incredible artists like Ed Sheeran and Post Malone, obviously they are drawing huge crowds for us. So for us, more than anything, we are just happy to see our fans have the best time. And we want to make sure the fan experience is always top notch.
And I want to say this because, as the senior director of marketing, I would assume a lot of the people that we're going to get prior to us finding out. How do you guys keep that a secret? I feel like I would spill immediately. Because I'd be so excited.
It's a hard one. I get questions all the time about who are you guys going to bring next year, and for us, I think that's part of the fun. It's obviously everyone gets excited, and that's what we love. We have such a dedicated fan base, and we are so lucky. Obviously we would not be who we are and as successful as we have been if it wasn't for our fans. So for us, knowing that there's that much excitement already building up for 2027, when we're only on day 5, so we still have today and 4 more full days, all of weekend 3 still to go. But that's just what is so awesome about Summerfest is our fans love it. We are so thankful for our fans, and the fact that they are already excited about what's coming next year is awesome.
So you already know a little bit about maybe next year plans, if I'm reading that correctly.
We got some stuff out there. I think for us, that's one thing that has changed so much in the music industry is everything is being planned further and further in advance. We're already even looking at artists for routing all the way into 2028. So
wow.
It's just one of those things that has changed over time. But it's also good for us because then that means we can get our lineup together earlier. We can get it out earlier. So then that way fans have more time to plan as well.
I want to ask too, because obviously people have very strong opinions on social media, some positive, some negative. Are you taking any fan feedback that you've seen and taking that into consideration when planning for next year and maybe even the year after?
Yeah, all the time. Our fans are at our core, like I was saying. And for us, we always appreciate fan feedback. It's one of those things that continues to obviously, we want to make our experience. It needs to be centered and focused on our fans. So for us, at the end of the festival, we'll always do surveying. We actually do surveying on the grounds as well. We want to hear from fans, what experiences are you hoping to see? Are you hoping to have different VIP upgrades? What else are you looking for from a vendor perspective, or what different local food options would you want to see, or even artists? We always ask our fans, who do you want to see at the festival? Who are you listening to now? What's an artist that you've always wanted to see? And we take that into strong consideration as we're going through the booking process.
I want to ask too a little behind the scenes, because you are with the senior director of marketing being that. I've noticed a lot of content creator collaborations, PR packages. What's it been like kind of delving into the social media TikTok world? You guys have always had a presence, but I feel like especially this year it's ramped up.
Yeah, so for us, that's a whole new avenue of marketing that we are definitely trying to capitalize on. And it's one of those things too where it's almost it's very organic in many ways, because not only like we will reach out to certain influencers or partners that we want to work with, but the amount of people who reach out to us too, who want to, come and experience the festival, whether they're, from Chicago or regionally or even nationally. I mean, we have people coming all the time who just want to come and experience Summerfest. And for us, it's a great opportunity to not only, bring those people so then they can tell the story of the awesome time that they have, but then it also reaches their audience as well, which is all part of it. I think that's one thing that's been so great to see as, especially as we've kind of gone over to the 3 weekends, is now obviously we continue to draw a huge amount of our audience, obviously locally, regionally, but we continue to see actually more and more people traveling from the country to Summerfest every single year. So it's one of those things and one of those new exciting marketing initiatives that we're kind of focusing on just to continue to expand our reach and awareness of the festival.
No, absolutely. And I feel like so easy to promote too. I mean, I've been seeing like the TikToks where content creators will be like, I am so happy that I get to promote this because I've been going here growing up for it. It's such a big core part of the community and also a big tourism part for Milwaukee as well. But I'm excited for this weekend. Maybe see you at some of the concerts. I know you mentioned maybe Post Malone, but yeah, super excited, hoping for another great weekend here at Summerfest. Jared, thanks so much for joining us here on the live desk.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hopefully I'll see you at Marcus King tonight.
Yes, I will be. I'm in the pit. I'm super excited.
Okay.
I can't wait.
I will see you there.
Absolutely. All right. Can't wait. Thanks so much, Jared, for joining us there. We're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. But again, some good insight if you're planning on heading to Summerfest this weekend or next. And also crazy that they're already planning for next year. So maybe if you were kind of iffy about the lineups this year, there's already stuff in the works. And Jared said they want to hear your feedback. So honestly, I'm excited. I mean, I think this is going to be a great weekend. Can't wait. I mean, I know, let's actually give you a live look now again. Overcast, but again, as we were saying, I'm not mad about it, especially for festival season. You don't want to be like all hot, sticky, sweaty, and we can have that next weekend if you're worried about that. So kind of get the best of both worlds here if you're planning on going this weekend or next. We're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Trying to see what we can bring you afterwards, but it's going to be something good. I promise you that. So stay with us. We're going to take a quick break here, but we'll be right back.
Wisconsin Live Desk.
Approaching the bottom of the 12 o'clock hour here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. You guys, every time I come back, I think about a different way I'm going to tell you what time it is. To tell you that we're live, because we're live literally all the time, you guys. That's kind of our thing here at Fox 6. We want to bring you live coverage all the time, so you can tune in whenever you want, including right now here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. So just to clarify, 12:49 p.m., we are live right now. I'm Maddie Stelk, taking you all the way to 2:30. Sam Kramer's got you from there. Taking a look at some of our feeds we got right now. Again, we were bringing you this conference right now that's happening in DC, where we are expected to hear from President Trump sometime this afternoon, and we will bring that to you live once the president does take the stage. But for now, let's give you a live look at American Family Field. A lot of exciting things happening this weekend. We've got Brewers versus Cubs, we've got Summerfest, we've got World Cup watch parties that are happening in Milwaukee, at Nomad, at Moran's Pub, so many different places that you can watch. Let's take a look actually at the lineup right now. So Norway versus France is at 2 o'clock today, so just coming up in a little over an hour here. And then Uruguay versus Spain at 8 for you night owls. New Zealand versus Belgium at 10. Again, pretty rough watch at the end of last night's game against Turkey and USA. Turkey did score a last-minute goal in just the final few minutes. Pretty upsetting there, but again, we are expecting Team USA to play again next week, and we'll bring that to you and coverage behind the scenes here on the Live Desk. But yes, very exciting there. And remember, while the World Cup games are on, you can watch us right here on Fox Local as well. The news does not stop. We are committed to bringing you uninterrupted coverage there as well. Looks like Trump is about to take the stage right now in D.C., so we're going to bring that to you and hear what he has to say. Again, this is the Freedom Coalition having a conference right now, and the president is taking the stage.
Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I want to thank Ralph for the introduction. He's a great guy and friend of mine for a long time. And thank you to all of the true American patriots of Faith and Freedom Coalition. You've been with me from the beginning, and pretty much like nobody else, I don't think can top you. You were just great right from the beginning. You got it. You understood what we had to do, and we got it done, and we're continuing to get it done at levels that nobody's seen before. With the help of many people in this room, 18 months ago, we won the most consequential election victory in American history, winning all 7 swing states, the Electoral College by 312 to 226, the popular vote, and 86% of all counties in America, 2,700 to 525. That's called a big victory. The Faith and Freedom Coalition was with us every step of the way. You knocked on 97 million doors. It's true. Ralph actually told me 10 million, so I had checked. It was 9.7 million. You reached 18 million voters. Think of that. Voters of faith. You sent 28 million text messages and made 10 million phone calls to help us win a mandate like no other administration in modern history. It was a mandate like we have not seen before. And together we saved our country and we saved religious freedom in America. We saved religious. It was going down. And you've always stood with me, and I will always stand with you. I'll always remember it. I'll always remember how hard you worked and your spirit. I especially want to thank Pastor Paula White, who's with us. Paula, wherever you may be. Thank you, Paula. Great person. Director of the White House Faith Office, Jenny Korn. Terrific. Jenny, thank you very much. Bishop Kevin Koberis. Where is Kevin? Thank you, Kevin. Good job. Nice looking man. President of the National Hispanic Christian Leadership Conference, Pastor Sam Rodriguez, who's been with me from the beginning. This place is crowded. I remember this place not so long ago. Hopefully, we'll have a little more pleasant. We're going to have a little more pleasant experience. I remember this room very well. A friend of mine who has been just incredible, Dr. Alveda King. Doctor, thank you. Thank you, darling. She's been with me also from the beginning. So many from the beginning. You can tell so much. The ones from the beginning, I don't know, they tend to be the ones, they're the ones they stay, and they stay like nobody. And we appreciate all of those people. An ambassador to the United Nations who's doing a really great job. Mike Waltz, he's around here someplace. Mike, doing a really good job. And just over 1 week from now, we will celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, marking 2.5 centuries of glorious American freedom. And thanks to the extraordinary work and incredible devotion of patriots like those people in this very, very crowded ballroom, today I can proudly report that on the edge of our 250th year, America is back. It's back. It's back. I believe better than ever before. And I'm especially pleased to say that, likewise, religion is back in our country, bigger and stronger than it has been in many, many years. Been reading all of those reports. Religion's really, it's going up. If that were stock, we'd be very, very rich, all of us. It's been great to watch. And as I've said before, to be a great nation, you have to have religion and you have to have God in your nation. If you don't have that, it just doesn't seem to work out, does it? And we have it. We have religion and we have God now. Remember when I first started, 2016, they wanted to take the Christmas out of Christmas. Remember that? We ended that little drive, but we ended a lot of other drives too. From the very beginning of our country, American greatness has been forged by people of faith, and the very first settlers who set foot upon this new world at Jamestown got off their ship, raised up a cross, and bowed down to the Lord in prayer. It was faith that strengthened the Minutemen and who stood up at Lexington Green and Concord Bridge in Philadelphia 250 years ago. Next week, our founders invoked the Creator 4 times in the Declaration of Independence. 4 times. I wasn't mentioned once. I'm very upset. Not once. Faith pushed the pioneers to journey west. Faith led Americans to abolish slavery, and faith built this country into the most exceptional nation in the history of the world. It was going very badly a couple of years ago, very badly, but it's back really strong. But we have to be very careful because bad things are happening. Could I watch what's happening? And we're going to be discussing that in just a minute. Americans have always deeply believed in the promise of Christ's words in the Gospel of Matthew. With God, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible, right? All things. That's why as we prepared to enter the 250th year last month, tens of thousands of patriots came together on our national mall, and we officially rededicated America as one nation under God. And we're not changing. We're not changing. And we always have been, and we always will be. We're not going to let them take it away. But as we celebrate this anniversary, we must also remember that our country could have been marking this occasion under very different circumstances. The last administration carried out a reign of persecution and repression against Christians and people of faith like America has never seen before. It's terrible. They turned a nation founded on freedom for believers into a place where Catholics were targeted by the FBI, where pro-life grandmothers were put in jail for praying, and where members of our military were thrown out of the armed forces for their religious beliefs. The radicals responsible for these offenses would have loved nothing more than to mark America's 250th anniversary by driving God from our public square once and for all. They wanted to do that. I don't know how anybody could vote for these people. They were so bad, they were so evil, and yet in many ways incompetent, certainly incompetent on policy, open borders, transgender for everybody, men and women's sports, just grossly incompetent ideologies, and so many more. But they did not get that chance because they lost an election in a landslide, and we won an election in a landslide. And while I am in the White House, I will defend Christians and all Americans of faith 100%. You have it 100%, and you've seen it already. So upon taking office, I created the first ever Presidential Commission on Religious Liberty, led by Texas Lieutenant Governor, a great guy. I don't know if he's here. I know he's coming over to my office in a little while, a thing called the Oval Office, beautiful office. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, and my friend, Dr. Ben Carson. I don't know, so many people in this room, I don't know if they're here, they may be here, but they're two great people. And later today at the White House, they will present me with their official report and recommendations to ensure that America continues to uphold the first right in our Constitution, and that's religious liberty. We have to uphold religious liberty, most important thing. On day one of my administration, I ended the weaponization of law enforcement against religious believers. You know that. I pardoned the Christians Joe Biden threw in jail for saying prayers. He threw him in jail. You know, he didn't know what the hell he was doing. The guy's grossly incompetent. But he was surrounded by very smart, in some cases brilliant, lunatics. I got rid of the sinister Johnson Amendment so that pastors can speak the truth at their pulpits. We created the very, very popular White House Faith Office, first time that's ever happened. And I set up an official Department of Justice task force to eradicate anti-Christian bias. There's anti-Christian bias, who would think? At a high level, too, although it's fading, going to fade fast. That task force just produced a new documentary revealing the abuses of religious freedom that they uncovered. It's called By Dawn's Early Light, and it's out right now, and it's really supposed to be, I have not seen it, I cannot tell a lie, I have not seen it, but I've heard about it, and I hear it's great, and I will see it, I hope soon. I also signed executive order to combat the scourge of anti-Semitism in our country. And we reinstated the warriors who were thrown out of our military by the Biden vaccine mandates and restored them to their former ranks. And we let them back with full pay. Is that good? We want to cut costs, but we figured we have to take care of them. And we're protecting our churches and synagogues by prosecuting mobs of radical left lunatics and agitators who try to harass and intimidate people in their places of worship not so long ago. And to help parents send their children to schools that share their values, I signed the largest My direction, the Department of Education issued new guidance protecting the right to prayer in public schools. That was a big thing. And these are all things that we were, they fought us very strongly, very, very strongly. Hard to believe they'd fight us on that, but we had to fight the good battle, but we won every time. We slashed federal funding for any school that pushes transgender insanity on our youth. We expanded the Mexico City policy to stop taxpayer dollars from being used to promote radical gender ideology around the world. Radical gender ideology, it is. I made it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. That wasn't too tough. That was sort of an easy one, but we have a man running in Texas who thinks there are 6 genders. I don't know what. He's going to have to discuss that with us. Can you believe it? 6 genders. And we officially banned the chemical and surgical mutilization of our children. And now we have to pass the Save America Act to protect our sacred American elections. Have to pass it. Hard to believe, right? Hard to believe that we even have to fight for this. We have to fight for everything. Nothing comes easy. Nothing. All voters must show photo ID. Not so bad, right? All voters must provide proof of citizenship. Is that so hard? And you're fighting the Democrats and a few Republicans who are doing a tremendous disservice to this country. We have a few Republicans that are fighting it. Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. You should call her and tell her to get on the ball. She'll never win another election, I can tell you. She's got to vote. It's called the Save America Act. It's voter ID, ideally photo ID, right? So you can look and you can say, oh, that person's okay, or for lots of reasons, that person is not the same person. We want proof of citizenship. And we want no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, and military deployment or travel. We'll be very judicious. Look what's happening in California where the ballots still aren't in. They're still not, can you believe it? Weeks afterwards, you know what's happening? They're cheating. The kid won, or he was certainly in the top 2. I don't know him, I never met him, Spencer Pratt. And he went away quietly. We didn't go away quietly, but he shouldn't go away quietly. He should protest because it was, in my very strong opinion, that was a rigged election. That kid should be in the runoffs. The woman who edged him out after like a long time, days and days. And then you'd hear reports, Spencer Pratt is not doing so well, even though he was strongly in the lead. And then you hear, Spencer Pratt has a 20% chance of being in the runoff. I said, they just rigged the election. And then you hear that a woman who nobody ever heard of is in the runoff, not him. And then they tried to hurt Steve Hilton, too. And I called the U.S. attorney and I said, you have to look into this because Steve Hilton did great. He's running for governor. And you could see it. The election was there. He was doing great. Then day after day, you'd hear reports about vote counting. They go on for weeks. You know, Colombia just had an election. The country of Colombia, 30 million voters. And I endorsed. I'm endorsed. We do so well with endorsements, like almost 100% success. But I endorsed somebody running, El Tigre. El Tigre. I liked him. You know why? Because he likes me. I don't know. He used to talk about Trump. I like President Trump. I don't know. How can you not let? So I endorsed him. I didn't know. He was in way down the list. He was not going to win. No chance of winning. I endorsed him and he won. He just announced he won. But think of it. They had 30 million votes. By 9:30 in the evening, every single vote was counted. And there were no complaints. He won. Every vote was counted. Here we are in California. They're going to go for weeks and weeks and weeks. And you know what they do? They cheat. How many votes do we need? How many votes? That's why they take their time. How many votes do we need? Okay, here they are. Honestly, it's terrible. We're a third world country with elections. And we will also enshrine a permanent law that says very easily and succinctly, no men in women's sports and no transgender surgery for our children. Never forget, if the radical left ever gets the chance, they will bring all of this insanity right back at levels that you've never seen before. You will never have seen anything like it if they ever get their chance. And they're trying like hell. I call them the Democrats. I exchanged an E for a U. The Democrats. And that's it's trending #1, the word Democrat. I just can't believe I didn't think of it 9 years ago. I should have thought. The Democrats, they are horrible. They want to resume the transgender mutilization of our children. They want to restart the war on Christians and churches. And as you saw with the communists elected in New York City recently, they're communists, they're not social democrats. They want to completely destroy the traditional American way of life. Communism is very easy to sell. It destroys everything, but it's very easy. I'll be honest, I think I'd be the greatest communist in history. I'd give free rent. Ladies and gentlemen, from now on, you don't have to pay any rent. From now on, anybody wants a house, don't worry about it. Just pick the house you want. Everybody gets free food. Everything is free from this point forward. Everyone's going to vote for me. The problem is, after 2 or 3 years, the country is a disaster area. The country fails. They always do. It always does. So easy to sell. That first year, boy, you're the most popular. It's happening right now in New York and California. But you'll start living in squalor. You'll live in squalor. There will be no food. There will be no housing. There will be no military. There will be no law and order. There will be no nothing. There will be no nothing. You'll be a third world inhabitant in every way, and everyone will suffer or die. You'll suffer or die. That's what happens. For thousands of years it's been happening by different names. Thousands of years. I'm telling you, I'd be the greatest communist in history. It would be so easy. You wouldn't have to work. You could stay home. The problem is a couple of years go by, the whole place collapses. Always does. Always has. But I'm sorry to say, but assassinations of those who oppose them is a very important element of their ideology. Assassination's a big deal for them. They're animals. They're animals. In many cases, they're not smart, but in some cases, they are. It's easy for them to get followers because they make promises that they know they can't keep, and the Democrats aren't fighting back. That's why they're dumb. They're not fighting back. They're afraid. I watch Schumer. He's afraid to fight. I watch guys that are pretty normal, and guys that we oppose, they're afraid to fight. The Democrats have taken a tremendous turn left, and many of these people, I looked at some of the people that got elected the other night in New York. These are, in many ways, stupid people. In some ways, and intellectually probably pretty smart. But they're people that want to destroy our country. They hate our country. They hate our people. They hate the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is in big trouble because this isn't stopping with New York. This is going all. Too easy to get elected. Giving everything away. Too easy to get elected. Very dangerous. But you'll soon have nothing left. That's the problem. In many ways, they're allowing them to just go their own way, do your own. We don't want to take a chance on saying anything bad because we're afraid we're going to lose our jobs if we do. They're afraid they're going to lose their election if they even think about saying anything bad about this new breed of sick people. They're not smart enough or tough enough to fight the plague that's happening. It's happening right before your very eyes. If they fought them the way they fight Republicans or the way they fight me, they'd be victorious. They didn't beat us, but they'd be victorious against the communists. But they don't have the courage to do so, so they're turning communists themselves. It's becoming a communist party. These are not social democrats. These are hardcore, godless communists. They're godless communists. All communists are godless. They don't believe in God. This is the most serious threat to our country since its existence, in my opinion, 250 years ago. This is a major threat to our country. It isn't something that's easily solved, but with a little love and help, some hard work. Because it's ironic, we're celebrating a very important birthday, our most important birthday so far, 250 years. And instead of speaking about Christ, and instead of speaking about freedom and victories of all different kinds, we're speaking about yet another threat to the foundations of America. These ruthless communists will attack all religions, but in particular Christianity. They always do. They're after Christianity more than any other religion. It seems to be more and more throughout the world, maybe because we're doing so.
This is live right now in Washington, D.C., where President Trump is speaking at the Faith and Freedom Coalition Conference. If you want to watch this in full, you can do so on our secondary stream on our YouTube page. But for now, we're going to take a quick break, bring you some local news that's happening around Southeast Wisconsin. We're going to bring that to you in just 2 minutes. We're talking e-scooters and the dangers. I was actually trying to see, I was looking outside. I'm like, are any of you out there on a Lime scooter right now? Again, we're going to break that down. We have a doctor from UW Health joining us in just a little bit, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. I'm Maddie Stelk, 1:17 on your Friday afternoon. Happy Friday, everyone. Let's take you back outside right now at our city center camera, just looking at downtown Milwaukee. Pretty chilly day for being the end of June. We're sitting in the 60s right now ahead of plenty of things happening in and around Milwaukee. We've got Summerfest, we've got Brewers versus Cubs, a lot of exciting things. And a lot of you might be wondering how to get there, especially if you're going to Summerfest. I can bet a lot of you are planning on relying on e-bikes and e-scooters, and that's totally fine, but there's new research that shows that there's an uptick in crashes related to these, so make sure that you're doing it safely. We're going to bring in Dr. Nick Kuhnel with UW Health to kind of talk about this a little bit and the new data. Nick, my first question I have to ask, have you ridden an e-scooter before?
Oh man, start with the tough questions right away. But yes, indeed, I have rode on a e-scooter before, just like the Lime scooters that we have there in Milwaukee.
And how did it go? Are you a big fan of them? Do you like them, or was it kind of like a one and done thing?
I've been on a couple times, and I will say I was surprised myself actually at times both how fast they go. They take off quite quickly, and they can be actually pretty tricky to stay balanced on, especially with different potholes or going over cracks on the sidewalk. So I was immediately reminded myself as I see some of these stats and some of the patients that are coming into the emergency department seeing us, how easy it is to find yourself in that boat. Thankfully, I did not found myself there yet.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm glad that we have a personal connection because I have never ridden one and I don't plan on it because I'm not very coordinated and would probably be part of those numbers. But just wanted to break it
Smart.
down a little bit. So, looking at these numbers, I mean, medical experts are calling this like a quote, looming crisis. So, why sound the alarm now about these?
It's a great question. I mean, we look back last year from the hospital standpoint, and there were several injuries, but was nothing really jumping off the page to us. Some of the data that was coming out from some of our local municipalities were showing increase in crashes involving e-scooters and e-bikes with vehicles or other incidents that have been going up really over the past 3 to 4 years. But this year, over the course of April and May of this year, as we quickly pulled, we were seeing the increased injury rates having to present to the pediatric emergency department up over 450%. And so that was the part that really stood out to us that it feels and it really is almost a daily occurrence now that we're seeing many more patients under the age of 18 come to the emergency department for their injuries.
What type of injuries are you typically seeing with these type of crashes?
Can be quite varied, and given the speed at which they travel, can also be quite severe. And we're seeing a decent amount of fractures of the arms and the legs, quite a bit of road rash, and given the speeds as well, head injuries and internal injuries to the organs inside both your chest, your spine, your abdomen, are all getting injured with the crashes that we're seeing in kids.
And I want to ask because there is stuff in the works to possibly, I mean, we've seen before a curfew for the e-scooters. Do you think more needs to be done beyond that as far as legislation goes after, seeing these kids come in firsthand with these injuries?
That's a great question. I mean, we've been working on this for just a short period of time now, but I think it really does take a community and a really more broad system approach to it. Legislation, regulations, rules are all an important aspect of that. But really understanding one's personal limits and abilities on these, as well as a parent or a guardian, when deciding when to purchase, what to purchase for your child, and making sure that they understand the rules of the road and that they can dress themselves appropriately from a safety standpoint. I think a lot of those aspects, honestly, are going to be the big impactor in really trying to tackle this.
I want to ask because I know a lot of the crashes happen for the person riding the scooter, but they can also happen for somebody who's just walking along the street. Have you looked at the numbers for, pedestrians or passerbys who might have gotten hit? Are those common as well?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know that data, but I'm certain it exists out there. And I think you highlight, yes, that it's not just the individual riding that is potentially at risk. And even if not getting injured, I've witnessed it myself when someone zooms by. I mean, you jump and get scared as well. And so it impacts others around us as well. Riding past individuals, walking dogs, it has a bigger impact than one might expect.
Yeah, and we were just looking at some of the numbers here. I mean, 44% of individuals involved in the crashes in 2025 were younger than 20. For parents who might be watching right now, what advice could you give them when maybe like talking to their kids or some safety tips before somebody decides to get on one of these?
Yeah, I think that's a really good stat to quote. In the past of why now, we had been seeing injuries with adults, as you highlight, with different in different cities, that these are used as public transportation devices more accessibly. But we're really starting to see that tipping point and the inflection that more and more patients and individuals under the age of 18, kids, are starting to use these more regularly. Things that are really important are appropriate safety gear. Wearing your helmet while riding is a must. If there's any other gear to help protect from road rash, also can be important, and especially with the scooters. I think naturally we're taught and we teach our kids all the time to put on your bike helmet, is actually what it's called, right? And so it's one of those that it's easier to grab the scooter and jump on our way and not think about that. So that's a key one to remember, given how fast those go, and with the smaller wheels are even less capable at balancing, so it puts children at higher risk for that. understanding the rules of the road, whether it's riding in the bike lanes appropriately, whether if you're on the sidewalk, pending different municipalities and what they allow, making sure that you're slowing down and stopping before crossing the street, are really some of the key important aspects.
And for people who are more like my age or maybe college age, who might be wanting to go out after a late night and thinking like this is an easy way, usually wouldn't have a helmet on them, would you advise maybe doing another option? Because I think a lot of these crashes can be assumed that sometimes when they're later at night with kids coming home from the bars that alcohol is involved. I guess with your guidance as a doctor, because I mean I can only say so much, would you recommend an alternative?
Oh, very much so. I mean, it's a motorized vehicle, and so my understanding is you have to follow all the rules of the road. And so, if you are jumping on one of these intoxicated, you're putting yourself at risk legally, as well as being impaired, clearly increasing your risk of crashing, especially at night as well. Just what comes with that, the dark environment, it's much harder to see and navigate some of the potholes in the roads or on the sidewalks. As well as for cars to see you as an individual. When you're on these motorized scooters and bikes, at the speeds at which you're traveling, it's much more difficult for others to see you and respond appropriately as well. So, in those situations, coming back home from the bar afterwards, after a fun night out with your friends, very much would encourage having a designated driver, utilizing Uber or taxi, whatever it may be, not putting yourself at risk. That's not something you need. You want to be able to wake up the next morning, enjoy and remember the times that you had that night.
Absolutely. And I want to ask for parents who might be watching right now, who might be seeing these numbers and raising some alarms in their heads, what would you say to them to maybe ease them a little bit, but then also just what advice should they have like going forward for their kids?
Yeah, I think education is the biggest part. In this is really a lot of things that we do in life are fun, to have risks with them. And so understanding what those risks are and knowing that you've done everything you can to try to limit those risks with the safety gear and education of your child and making sure that they are physically able to manage these e-bikes and e-scooters before they jump on them. Even testing them yourself is a good way to get a sense of how easily or not easily controllable they are, to be able to then help advise yourself as to whether or not your child is ready for those.
Do you think the numbers are just going to continue to go up with these crashes, or do you think that there's something that can be done to minimize it?
If the no change happens, then I have no reason to think that they won't continue to go up as they become more accessible. We see with kids, once it's not just the one friend that has it, that cool new device or that new bike, but all of a sudden now you have several. There's definitely that component of peer pressure, especially on parents then to try to, be a part of the group with their kids. And so I foresee that without some of these changes, really emphasizing the safety, approaching this from a community as a true system approach to it, as well as making our sidewalks, our streets safer, and making sure everyone understands the rules of the road. I don't see a reason why it wouldn't, but that's why we're here today, to really help educate everyone and hope that we can allow our kids to enjoy these in a safe manner.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know the mayor and other city leaders in Milwaukee, at least, are reevaluating some legislation to hopefully minimize some of the accidents here. But until then, education, super important, and so glad that we had you on to do so. Nick, thank you so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. And if you are riding a scooter this weekend, follow those safety tips. You can read this whole entire article on our website, fox6now.com, as well as that interview. Dr. Nick Kuhnel with UW Health Kids joining us there on the live desk. We're going to take a quick break here. We'll be right back after a short few minutes. Stay with us.
Wisconsin Live Desk.
1:30 on your Friday afternoon. Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. I'm your host, Maddie Stelk. Going to be with you for the next hour here. Let's take you back out to D.C., where President Trump is still speaking at the Faith and Freedom Coalition conference.
Insecure border in history. I actually think in the history of the world, I don't think it's just here. You could just walk into the country, and again, they were letting prison populations, they were taking buses and dropping them off at our border, and people coming out, murderers coming out of prison, drug dealers, the worst people. They made our criminals look like nice people. That's the only thing nice. Our criminals, for the first time, looked very nice by comparison to these people. But they dropped 25 million people over 4 years into our country. And it's the single hardest job I have, getting them out. We're getting them out pretty rapidly, but it's a very hard thing. But think of it, prison populations from the Congo, from all parts of South America, from all parts of the world, were taken in, driven through Mexico, and dropped off in our border, and they would walk right into our country. And we've quickly turned it into the strongest and most secure border in the history. We have the strongest border we've ever had now. And for the past 13 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted into the United States. 0. We have 0. And those are the numbers, they report them. And they're taken by sort of a left kind of a group. The stats, if anybody did, they'd like to report them. But we have 0. And they don't even try because they know they're probably not going to get in, so they're not going to make this very dangerous march. We're saving a lot of lives. Because in those caravans, remember I named them caravans, they'd have 25,000 people, sometimes more. But they'd come up from South America and all through Mexico. They'd go all through. And they go through jungles in Colombia. Really tough jungles, too. Dangerous jungles. And women would die, and women would be raped. Remember when I said they get raped, crime, murder, and everyone, my first speech was controversial. When I announced I was running, everyone said, "What do you mean raped?" What I said was peanuts compared to what happened. And the women would come up and they'd die, they'd be raped. A lot of people would die on those caravans. The journeys up they call them journeys through hell. Because they had to go through jungles, they had to go through very dangerous areas. And the people that got here would just walk right into our country. We had no idea who they were. Nobody would even stand there and check. They just came in. Come on in, come on in. This was Sleepy Joe Biden's ideology that was forced on him by much smarter people than him that wanted to destroy our country because he had no clue. But with the help of our law enforcement heroes in 2025, we achieved the largest drop in the murder rate ever recorded in our country's history 125 years ago. Think of that, the year 1900, that was before my father. My father would hate me saying that because it's a long time ago, but that was before my father was born. I had a wonderful father and mother, and family. But the lowest murder rate in 125 years. Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest, most beautiful cities in the country. And just a little while ago, it was a killing machine. Think of that. A year and a half ago, Washington was a very unsafe city. Now it's one of the safest cities in the country. It's one of the most beautiful cities. Doug Burgum and myself and a whole group of people did a great job on the monuments and fountains. And the reflecting pool was so beautiful. They tried to destroy it. They cut it up with a box knife and tried to destroy it. And it's in great shape now. They're terrible. They're vandals. They've caught 6 of them, I guess, maybe more. They've got others in line to be caught. But we just inspected it. We'll fix it right after the 4th of July. Got to let the water out, just fix it. But we caught them. They would cut it, and they would grab this very expensive and very good material, totally waterproof, and they rip it. These people are sick. They ripped a scar 350 feet long through the side of the reflecting pool. These are the people we're dealing with. These are the people that want to destroy our country. But we've invested a record $1 trillion in the United States Armed Forces, and we're going this year for $1.5 trillion, all made in the USA. And something that's so exciting, the recruitment. You know, if you go back a year and a half, 2 years ago, you could not get anybody to join the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, Space Force. You couldn't get anybody to join. They had tremendous recruitment problems, but now recruitment in every branch of our military is setting records. 18 months ago, we had tremendous shortages and we couldn't fill them up. We were never going to fill them up. That included police and firemen. We couldn't get policemen and women. We couldn't get firemen and women. Anything with a uniform, because they were ashamed of our country, because we had people that were not respected. You have to respect the president. If you don't respect the president, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a problem. They had no respect. And now we have waiting lists. Now you can't get into the military. Literally, we went from the worst recruitment numbers ever in 1 year to the best recruitment numbers ever. And it all started on that beautiful day, November 5th, right? A thing called Election Day. And as soon as we won, before I even got to do anything, those numbers started going through the roof. People love our country again, and they have spirit. You always loved it, but you were down. You were depressed. You were not feeling too good about our country, especially you as people with a great religion and a fervor for Christianity and religion. You should be depressed. You should have been, but now you're riding high. But we have to be careful. We don't want to lose it. We've got to win the midterms. We've got to win the election coming up, and we're gonna be in good shape. But you have to expose them. If you don't expose them, I mean, I stand here and I expose them. Some people don't do it right. They say they're going to get free rent. Well, that's okay to say, but everyone's going to vote for them, except for a few of the people in this room. But you have to say they're going to get free rent. But in 2 years, everything is going to collapse and you're going to live in squalor. When you say that, you can beat the free rent. You can beat the fact that they're going to take your house away and give it to somebody else, which is essentially what they'd like to do. But it's happened so many times over the years with really powerful countries, and we're not going to let it happen. So we have the strongest and most powerful military anywhere in the world. I built it in my first term, using it a little bit in my second term. And we're once again using it to defend America's interests and American values. Look at what happened in Venezuela. We have a great, and by the way, we're helping Venezuela. They had a tremendous earthquake, a lot of people killed, and unbelievable, right in Caracas. And we have a lot of people over there helping. But Venezuela's been fantastic. We've had a great relationship. It was a one-day war. We hit them so hard, and one-day war. Now we've taken out millions of barrels of oil, and we've paid for the war many times over. But just as importantly, they are doing better than they've ever done. They're making more money than they've ever done. They've never made the money that they're making now. And it's really, I mean, outside of what happened last night with that was terrible what happened. It was a big earthquake, knocked down buildings. But outside, it was really, it's a happy country again. The people are happy. They're dancing in the streets. The people running it are doing a very good job. The United States has never been stronger. We have never been wealthier. We've never been prouder to be an American. Since 1776, America's story has been a tale of freedom, overcoming oppression, good defeating evil, and faith overcoming every challenge and every foe. We had everybody was winning, and we're going to continue stronger, maybe stronger. One generation, think of it, just one generation after our war of independence, the British tried, they really tried hard to conquer America in the War of 1812. That didn't work out too well. But they failed, and the cause of freedom won, and it continues to win. The War of Survival ultimately gave America our national anthem and our Star-Spangled Banner. Many Americans know the story of Francis Scott Key writing the words of the anthem, and watched the flag under attack, and he wrote those beautiful words. But what few realize is that the very same poem also inspired our national motto. The fourth verse of the song ends in these words, and this be our motto, in God we trust. In God we trust. And as you know, the Democrats want to end that. They don't want the words, "In God we trust." They want to have that stricken. They go to court. They take us to court. We're never changing that. We'll fight for that. We're not changing that. In God we trust. Better believe it. So today, on the threshold of our 250th year, this room is proof that America is still a nation that lives by those magnificent words, "In God we trust." With the help of everyone here today and Americans of faith all across this land, we will continue to protect the promise of the Declaration of Independence, one of which actually is in my office, in the Oval Office. So we cherish it. We will continue to defend our values, our traditions, our faith, and our freedom. And as we enter the golden age of America, that's what we have. This is the golden age. We've never had anything like it. We have factories all over the country. We have car plants, AI plants, all sorts of plants. Our businesses are expanding. Our numbers are unbelievable. Remember that we've never had a year with so many number one stock markets. Good to have number one because that affects everybody. That means jobs. That means success. That's good, as we said, for your 401ks. It's good for your stock investments. Everyone's doing well. We have a country that's just the hottest. It just is so hot. And I'm working really hard to make it even better. We're going to get rid of some of the flaws. We're going to make it even better. But the biggest thing we have to do is we have to stop this horrible thread of cancer that's permeating our country called communism. We have to stop it because that's what it's about. That's what they want to do quietly. And we ask that God will continue to bless the United States of America, and God will bless the United States of America because of people like you. Thank you very much, and happy Independence Day, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
President Trump wrapping up there. Again, this is live in D.C. after Trump just spoke at the Faith and Freedom Coalition Conference. Speaking there for about, I want to say a little under an hour. But yeah, just kind of talking about celebrations and everything ahead of America 250, kind of talking about the Trump campaign there. Well, now that that's wrapped up, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll bring you some news a little closer to home. Stay with us.
Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Live Desk 147 on your Friday afternoon. Let's give you a live look. This is such a cool shot. This is from our Estabrook Park camera, which you can normally see the entire landscape just around the city of Milwaukee, but we can see nothing because there's clouds. And guys, I don't know where the sun is, but this is the palest I think I've been like ever at this time of year. It's almost the end of June. I told Delaney I was going to show a visual. Guys, I had to self-tan because I'm so pale and it's really bad. So don't look too closely. I've been like trying to not make my hands like this, but I did just expose myself. Yeah, not great, guys. But yeah, I need the sun to come out, and it's expected to in just a little bit. But let's take a look at your 6-day planner. Again, partly sunny. Girl, where? Maybe it'll come out later in the day. I think it's supposed to. We're going to have a check at your forecast with one of our meteorologists in just a bit. But yeah, again, big warm up tomorrow, 80, high of 80. And then I like the look of it. I mean, I like the sun. That's giving me good vibes. I guess maybe I could tan on Sunday. Hopefully, we'll see, because obviously this self-tanner is not cutting it. I don't know how much longer I can do this. But yeah, it looks like next week is kind of the summer heat, the summer vibes that we've been waiting for. But yeah, it's going to be very, very hot. And as our meteorologists were saying, with very high dew points as well. But yeah, for right now, we are sitting in the fog and the overcast. Again, hoping the sun is going to peek out in a little bit. Here's another live look at what we can see. Again, just very cloudy day here in Milwaukee, but the weather's not too bad. I mean, we are in the 60s, which is a little cool, but might be nice if you're doing things like Summerfest, baseball game. I feel like a little breeze can add to the vibe there. Looking at the streets, let's see if we can see any of our other cameras right now. Just kind of showing, let's see what I've got here. Let's see, we got our airport cam right there. Maybe we'll catch a plane landing. We need that, I don't know. Okay, maybe not. Let's see, there's our downtown cam. Oh yeah, American Family Field ahead of the Brewers-Cubs. Big, a highly anticipated matchup here. Roof is open, so I think they're hoping that the clouds are going to come out and things are hopefully going to warm up for the game this evening. It is at 6:35. And we just checked in with our Andrew Amuzu, who showed us a whole new setup outside of the ballpark. For parents, there's a beer garden, there's a mini golf course for the kids, a little playground, a slide, and even this giant cow that doubles as a rock climbing wall as well. So very exciting there. And you can look, cars smooth sailing down the highway right now. Let's take a look at your traffic report. Not too bad. Looks like a little bit on 41, closer to or just south of Menominee Falls. Might be some sort of accident, a little congestion there. We're actually going to check in on that for you and see if we can bring it to you. Hopefully clears up in just a bit. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what I can bring you guys right now before we check in with one of our reporters. Let's talk Summerfest. Tonight, if you go to the American Family Insurance Amphitheater for your headliners, Cody Johnson and Jesse Murph is opening for him there. If you're into country, or maybe not, then Saturday, I guess Post Malone is kind of country now, but a little bit different of a lineup. We've got Post Malone and Carter Faith as his opener. But again, at the T-Mobile stage tonight is Greg Coach and the Coach Marshall Trio, the band Lula, and the Marcus King Band, which I'm personally really excited for. I hope to see some of you guys there if you are going to Summerfest. I will be there again tonight. I saw Ed Sheeran with our anchor Haley Spitler, actually, who would normally be joining you at this time, but she had such an early wake up, you guys. We went to the Ed Sheeran concert late at night, and then she had to be up at 3:30 in the morning to fill in on FOX6 Wake Up. But props to her. She made it through. I brought her a coffee as a thank you for going with me. But yes, very exciting there, and another great lineup tonight with the Marcus King Band at the end. And then tomorrow night at our stage, T-Mobile stage, we've got Solidified, Maris, and Audrey Nuna. Apologies, maybe Maris if I'm mispronouncing that, but if that's more of an EDM techno vibe. And then Audrey Nuna, of course, is your rapper that's going on later in the night. So very exciting lineup there. I just keep bringing you back to this camera right now because it's wild. I'm not sure if it's pointed up at the sky or if it's just where it's positioned is why we can't see anything. But it just goes to show it's very cloudy outside regardless, either way. Hoping to get a check-in with one of our meteorologists in just a bit here. I know Stephanie Barrichello is probably just clocking in to work there. But again, hopefully she has good news that the sun is coming out. I mean, taking a look again at your 6-day planner, looks pretty nice. So hopefully things shape up. Delaney, are you ready for the heat that we're going to get next week?
Yes and no. I like the heat, but I prefer like the 80s.
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday look really good, but then it gets a little too warm for me on Monday.
Right. And I feel like it's key too to look at by the lake, because obviously tonight, I mean, it says 72, but it's 68 at the lake. So I can only imagine what the low is going to be for those heading into Summerfest. So definitely wear a coat. I was actually looking at some of the outfits yesterday and I was getting some inspo. Some people were doing like jean shorts and a crew neck with like boots. And then others, Ashley's laughing at me right now because clearly I've just been waiting for her to come on because I've been so excited. She's actually on the road right now. I'm going to bring her in as we speak, you guys. I'm so excited. Ashley, first off, have you been to Summerfest before we even get into your story this summer?
I was there yesterday for the meet and greet that we had, where we met some of our FOX6 viewers, and I covered a story about a paddle boat company. They also had hydro bikes down there and kayaks. But it was crazy. I heard you talking about the weather there. It was like warm at the beginning of the day. Then it got really chilly because I stayed a little later after my live hit. But I ended up with a sunburn somehow. So
you got sunburned?
A little bit, yeah.
I love me how I'm like
and
jealous.
I was just in Mexico and didn't get a sunburn, but I got one.
But you got one with like
by Lake Michigan.
Wow, I was just saying, I was looking, just take a look at this camera. I think this is our Estabrook Park camera.
Oh wow.
Just completely, I can't tell if it's pointed at the sky or if it's really that foggy from up there. But I was saying, I'm like, I need the sun because I was showing myself tan hands, which are really bad right now. So I really need the sun so I can, because I'm like, this is the palest I've been at this time of year, I feel like in a while. The sun hasn't been out. So I'm a little jealous that you got some sun yesterday.
Well, I know we're going to get plenty of sun next week. We've got temperatures expected to reach the 90s. If you need me to do a weather hit, I'm here for it.
Okay, I'm excited. And it's so exciting because next week, too, it's like just in time for the holiday week. We've got America 250, but celebrations are already underway in Southeast Wisconsin. I know you're either heading over or maybe on your way back from a pretty cool story highlighting a war veteran from Kenosha.
Yeah, we were down in Kenosha. We talked with 97-year-old Robert Ibsen. He was named Kenosha's 2025 Hometown Hero. And on Sunday, he's going to be in the Civic Veterans Parade, I believe is what it's called, the Kenosha Civic Parade. And it's kind of their Independence Day parade ahead of the 4th of July. They do it the weekend before. And he's going to be the front car, and he's very excited for it. He turns 98 on July 3rd. So it's a big year. It's America 250. It's his birthday that week, and he's going to be honored in this parade. He's 97 years old. He said he joined the Navy back in 1946, just out of high school. He earned a World War II Victory Medal. He served in the Korean War as well as Vietnam. He served 21 years in the Navy, and he spoke to us today about his service to the country, kind of the sacrifices that he made along the way, and what it means for him to be a part of this parade and to hear people say thank you and be acknowledged for his service.
And I mean, he's gone far and wide, but it must be pretty cool to come back to his hometown and get that kind of recognition. I want to ask, because I feel like this is this question all reporters ask, and I'm not sure if you have, about what keeps him going at 97 years old. I mean, that's incredible that he's still, kicking it and almost at 100.
Yeah, he spoke a lot. It was very sweet. Loved wife, his wife, who they've been 77 years, said that throughout everything, his family and his wife have been the most important to him and helped him throughout his career, and they were very sweet together, giving a lot of marriage advice to us as we filmed our story today.
What was the marriage advice? Now I'm curious.
They said, it's never 50-50 in a marriage. Sometimes it's 75-25. Sometimes it's, 80-20. but they said it's all about compromise and, knowing that there's going to be rough spots, but you have to get.
Oh, sorry, I lost you for a second, but we got
We're under these overpasses and it goes pitch black, I noticed, and I think we lose service when we do that. So.
Oh, no, that's okay. I think you're back now. Perfect. But heard everything
I look
you
frozen
said.
on the screen.
What? I don't think.
I look glitchy or frozen. I can see here. I'll
Oh,
do
yeah.
the robot.
Do a little dance for us there. Ahead of, okay. I can't, okay, we might be losing you again. How many more underpasses are there? Are there a lot more?
How many what?
Are there, I know you kept saying because you were going under the underpass is the service. Are there a lot ahead of you on the road? Okay, Ashley's, hello?
All right, I think I'm back.
You're back. She's back.
All right.
Okay, but yeah, you were talking about how they were talking about like marriage advice and things like that, which is really sweet that they're. Is his wife still around? Was he saying? Are they all still there?
Elaine was there. We spoke to her, and she was so sweet. She actually called our station about this story because she's just so proud of Bob, as Robert. She said that he gets all these awards. And or she said was being married to him for 77 years, which is kind of the sweetest thing I've ever heard. And I'm frozen again, I think. So
I think you might be a little bit now you're tiny. Oh, now you're normal size again. But yeah, that's really sweet.
But I want to tell you something cool about him. He also is a knight.
A knight?
On top of all these, yes, he was knighted by the Danish queen, the Queen of Denmark, because he served for many years with the Danish Brotherhood, I believe it's called, both locally in Kenosha and nationally. And in 1988, he became a knight. So it's Sir Robert Ibsen and Lady Elaine Ibsen.
Oh, so she's
today.
also she's a lady as well.
Yes. Yeah.
How does one even become a knight? I didn't know that this was a thing that you could do.
I don't know the
You're not the knight expert
behind it. Yeah. But I just know he became a knight. And I also wanted to add one more thing. Oops, I'm losing my computer here. That he's going to be wearing his chief petty officer uniform in this parade on Sunday that he wore when he was a naval officer. He said it's a little big on him now. So that'll be also a very big moment for him to be wearing that uniform again.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. And also, seems like such a character, honestly. I mean, he's a knight and putting in all those decades of service as well to our country. What a fun assignment for today. Are you headed back now? I guess give a little behind the scenes. I know you're with, who are you with, photojournalist-wise?
I'm with Eric Litzheim. He's
Eric!
driving the car. We've got Caleb, our intern, in the
Oh
back.
my gosh, wait. Can you hand the phone to Caleb?
Do you want to talk to Caleb? Here you go.
If he's comfortable.
My computer.
Caleb, welcome to the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. I want to ask you, you've been on so many different assignments. Caleb is it's like intern fellow. I want to get the correct terminology, but you're with us for the summer.
Yeah, I'm an intern here through the Emma Bowen Fellowship.
Very nice. Okay. How many weeks in are you now? Are you a month in already?
No, not yet. This is the end of my third week.
End of your third week. Okay. Catch us up. Talk to us about what you've learned, what it's been like so far.
Yeah, it's been really nice. I've been shadowing reporters. So today I'm shadowing Ashley. And yeah, I've been shadowing people in the newsroom. I've shadowed people at the assignment desk. I've shadowed other reporters. I was also there last week with Brett Lemoyne when he was talking to the teen who was going to the World Cup for the horses.
Oh, nice.
And also, I've been shadowing other reporters. and producers also. I was with Delaney when she was producing the live desk, I think 2 weeks ago. So yeah, it's been nice.
Very nice. And I want to ask too, so for those of you who don't know Caleb, kind of give us a little synopsis of where you're from and where you go to school.
Yeah, I'm from Milwaukee originally, but I go to school in New York. I go to Columbia. So yeah, I'm here for the summer interning. I've been learning a lot here at FOX6.
I want to ask, I know we've talked about this a little, obviously, like off air, just kind of talking about the differences culturally versus like East Coast versus Midwest. What have you kind of learned since coming back to Milwaukee after being in New York City for college?
Yeah, I would say people have been asking me that a lot. And I think it's the main difference is people on the East Coast. They're definitely still helpful, but I think people also like try this online too. They're just not, I guess, they don't have, I guess, the Midwestern politeness or like they don't, I guess, go through all the niceties I've been saying
Sure.
that people go through in the Midwest. But I mean, they're definitely still nice overall. It's just a different culture there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. The Midwest nice. Because we've talked about it before, Caleb. I was at Syracuse and was feeling the same way, coming back to the Midwest. I'm like, wow, I forgot that and not that, it's just a different culture. Like, as you were saying too, like everyone's super busy on the East Coast and like just getting to where they need to be. Whereas in the Midwest, people like really take their time with like the Midwest goodbye and everything. I want to ask, now that you've been back here or in Milwaukee for the summer, do you think we've lost you to New York City, or do you think you want to come back to Milwaukee maybe after you graduate?
I don't know. I'm still testing the waters, I guess. I definitely enjoy both places. Also, I feel like even if I were to move to New York City after graduation, I definitely would come back at least a few times a year because, I mean, my family lives here. So I feel like I have to come back.
Yeah.
All my family, all my friends are here. Yeah.
And New York City's always going to be there. And that's what I'm saying too, is I'm like, I had to come back as well. Well, Caleb, we're so happy to have you here with us at FOX6 for the summer. And is this your live desk debut? Have you been on before?
I think this is my debut, yeah.
Debut! We love that. Caleb, thanks so much for coming on, and looking forward to seeing you guys back at the station as you're heading back from Kenosha. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, monitoring some feeds to see what we can bring you here. But once we take a quick break, reset, we'll be right back with more news. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk, 2:10 on your Friday afternoon. Let's take you back out to our Estabrook Park camera where it is very foggy. Right after we went to break, I just wrapped up with Ashley and she was like, I can confirm it is very foggy outside as they're headed back from Kenosha to the station right now. But yeah, hoping to get a closer look from one of our weather experts in just a little bit now. Stephanie Barkello should be just clocking in to work now after a pretty busy weather week that we've had. I mean, we saw storms earlier in the week. I want to say probably on Wednesday now, if I can remember. But yeah, things have really turned around as we take a look at our 6-day planner once again. Sun, sun, sun. Hopefully that sticks around and comes out in just a little bit, peeking out, especially in time for the plenty of things happening in Milwaukee, including Milwaukee Brewers versus Chicago Cubs happening at American Family Field. There's Summerfest. There's watch parties for the World Cup. Let's actually take you to one of the watch parties right now happening at Nomad. Here's a live look right now. Pretty packed. I want to say people have got their sweatshirts and pants on because it is a bit chilly, just about 61 degrees. I'm trying to remember who's playing right now. Oh yes, Norway versus France. Just started about 10 minutes ago there, as you can see on your screen. And then we've got Uruguay and Spain at 8, and then New Zealand versus Belgium at 10 o'clock tonight. But yeah, I'm trying to see what type of fans, if there's any jerseys, or maybe people are just out enjoying their Friday afternoon right now. But again, yeah, a lot of sweatshirts if you need some fitspo, if you're about to go outside. But also make sure to keep the Fox Local mobile app on while you do so, if you do plan on heading out. But yeah, pretty active right now at Nomad World Pub if you're looking for something to do this afternoon and evening. Games will be happening all night on Fox 6. And again, for those of you who don't want to watch the World Cup, you can still watch us here on Fox Local. We've got our newscasts at 4, 5, and 6, 9, and 10 streaming there. So again, news does not stop just because soccer's on. So if you turn on Channel 6 and you're like, wait, what? I want to watch Ted and Mary or Ben and Kim or Sam Kramer. You can, guys. It's still happening. The news does not stop because of our sporting events that we have. You just need the Fox Local mobile app, or you can find us on your smart TV, Fox Local Select Milwaukee, and we can bring you the news right there live and tell you what's happening now to keep you in the loop. But now we're going to actually take a look at some of our top trending stories right now on our website. I had Delaney pull it up right here for us. So let's take a look. So fox6now.com. Let's look at our website. Delaney is back in our control room and she's going to scroll for us. Let's look. So our top story right now, let's click into Milwaukee man pleading guilty to felony murder and then sentenced to prison. So there's his mugshot right there. But yeah, basically a Milwaukee man sentenced to prison, killed another man on Milwaukee's South Side. This was back in 2025. That's him right there, his mugshot, Jonathan Caravello. He previously pleaded guilty to 1 count of felony murder. Thursday, June 25th, he was sentenced to 8 years in prison. So that was just yesterday. But again, this story still trending on our website here. Let's go to the next one in the lineup here. Another case that we've got, I can't read it because, oh yeah, homicide, a suspect arrested in northern Wisconsin connected to that case. This is a 40-year-old Michael Garcia Carroll, wanted in connection to a homicide. Law enforcement said he may be in Vilas County or Oneida County, considered dangerous, and the public should not make contact with him. So if you see that man right there on your screen, please advise and follow police protocol. Guess we'll go to the third story now. Just trying to take you through to keep you in the loop as to what's happening in and around Southeast Wisconsin. Another thing, an overnight shooting on the Lower East Side. 1 person was hurt, actually, in this shooting. That's a picture right now on the article, rather, from last night, showing the scene there at Brady and Farwell and Cambridge. Pretty active area, actually, for a lot of people headed downtown. There's a bunch of bars just down Brady Street there. You can see the Walgreens. 1 person critically injured in a shooting in the early morning hours of June 26th. So again, this morning happened at Farwell and Brady. As you can see, the Brady Street Walgreens right there. 1 person was taken into custody. We're going to continue bringing you updates. These are all developing stories happening right now in Milwaukee and Southeast Wisconsin. And once we get the latest, we will bring it to you right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk and Fox Local. We're going to take a quick break here and tell you more about an exciting event happening in Milwaukee next week. Stay with us on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. I'm your host, Maddie Stelk. Excuse me. Guys, it is clearly Friday, and what a week it has been. Let's give you a live look at American Family Field right now. Big matchup coming up tonight. Cubs versus Brewers. Of course, the Crew hoping to sweep the Cubs again after a brutal matchup last time at Wrigley Field. Roof open, hoping for the sun to peek out a little bit there as fans probably head over to tailgate. I'm sure a lot of people from Chicago planning on heading up to Milwaukee this afternoon, so hoping for some good weather there. But roof open. And hopefully things will continue to stay dry and sunny like we saw in our forecast heading into this weekend. Not only is the matchup coming up that people are excited about related to the Brewers, but there's also a very special celebration happening next week at the brand new Bob Uecker mural in downtown Milwaukee. Hoping to give you a live picture of that soon. Oh wait, it looks like we might actually have one right now. Can I bring it to you live on air? Let's find out. Let's see, we've got that one. There it is. Oh my gosh, it was so cool seeing this come to life. This is from one of our tower cameras. We're able to point it at the mural there, but we've been seeing it from the beginning to where it is now over the past few weeks. And boy, do they work fast on that, but so cool to see it come to life. We're now joined by Matt Dorner, CEO of Milwaukee Downtown Bid 21. Thank you so much for being with us, Matt, and kind of talk about what it's been like for you to see this come to life.
Well, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been absolutely incredible just being part of the process and working so closely with Mauricio Ramirez, who we have a long-standing relationship with. He's just such a great artist. I think this is just a showpiece. And then ultimately honoring one of Milwaukee's absolute legends and icons with this great piece of public art. And it turned out fabulous.
Kind of talk about, because I think the one thing catching a lot of people's eyes is for the tailgate celebration on Tuesday, the 500 beer incentive, and then also the 500 brats. Talk about what the decision-making process was like to draw fans into this event.
Yeah, we're super excited to formally celebrate the completion of the mural, and courtesy of Molson Coors, we're able to, and really kind of themed it off of a tailgate, obviously with Bob Uecker and the involvement with the ownership group and the brewers themselves. What better way to kind of really theme it around, celebrating in the parking lot right in front of the mural with the tailgate. So what goes better with that than brats and beers? And then also, live entertainment. So you'll see those that are able to join us. We'll be down there with the Brewers mascots, racing sausages, live music. So yeah, it's just going to be really a great celebration. Kicking off at 11:30 with a formal program with some remarks from sponsors, the artists, and more, starting right at noon.
And you've spearheaded a lot of mural projects here in downtown Milwaukee. Why this one? I mean, obviously Bob Uecker has such a big impact on the city of Milwaukee, but is this something that's been in the works for a while?
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, as we look at public art, it really tells a story of the city, right? So we've been involved in a variety of different projects, and what better way to honor one of the most iconic Milwaukeeans with a larger than life mural, one of the biggest ones that we have in downtown Milwaukee. So the opportunity came from the ownership of the Wintrust Financial Center coming several months ago, coming to our office and saying, hey, we have this idea, and let's start moving forward on it. So it came together pretty quickly and had the perfect artist to execute the project.
Yeah, and the artist, Mauricio Ramirez, also, I have to ask you about the Giannis mural as well. I know you guys recently put out a statement saying that it will be staying, even though Giannis, of course, reports of him leaving, being traded to the Miami Heat. Was it ever a question that the mural would be taken down?
From our perspective, no. Giannis has been such an iconic figure, devoting the first 13 years of his career here in Milwaukee. And as he became and the first championship in 50 years, and as Giannis continued to be a global icon, and as he grew, Milwaukee got to go along on that ride with him. And I think his legacy will continue to be honored. And I think, so it makes sense.
And I feel like it's probably pretty cool for even you to see that right when people heard the news, the first place they went was the mural, which just shows how big of an impact that it's had on the city of Milwaukee. How do you hope that now this Bob Uecker mural will have the same sort of effect?
Yeah, the Bob Uecker mural is really just, we thought it was going to be obviously very popular, but we were really, the response has exceeded our expectations throughout the entire process. So many people have been popping by, seeking out the mural. And yeah, I was just by it again earlier today, and a lot of folks is milling around the area taking photos, and it really will be a destination. And I think folks will seek it out. Visitors will seek it out. If you work downtown, you're gonna walk by it regularly. If you live downtown, you're gonna see it. So I think it's just going to be one of those destinational pieces. When folks are in downtown Milwaukee, they're going to go check out the Bob Uecker mural, get their photo.
Absolutely. And I want to ask you too, just going back to Giannis, have you been to the mural since you heard the news, and what have you seen?
Yeah, I've been there a few times, and including earlier today. So there was other people there taking photos, and I think it's been really respectful. Obviously, some people have been leaving behind memorabilia, and I think the response, again, has been a thankful one, and one of gratitude. So it continues to be a destination, and I think it will continue.
And I mean, we've got two big Milwaukee icons, of course, Bob Uecker and Giannis Antetokounmpo, in different ways. Are there any other projects in the works to maybe paint a picture of another Milwaukee icon?
We're always thinking of different projects. Every year we add a couple more. So internally with the team, we're talking about different projects. So stay tuned.
I want to ask now too, kind of going forward and then also now going way back, so many iconic or just beautiful art pieces in the city of Milwaukee on our buildings. What's kind of the process been like to build those and make those happen?
Yeah, I really have to say thanks to my leadership here at Milwaukee Downtown, understanding that public art is such an important part of building a vibrant downtown. So over the last decade alone, we've been involved in over 30 murals of all different sizes. And again, I think when you go to visit a community and you turn a corner and you see this big beautiful piece of art, it just sticks with you. And that's the portfolio that we're building out, whether it be the 5,000 linear feet of murals that we added to the Riverwalk last year, or some of the Brighton Passage murals that we've added under I-794 near the public market. All of those just continue to kind of tell a story and add some surprise and delight as you're traversing the city.
Yeah, it's really cool to see. I'm moving to like the Third Ward area actually next week, and I can see several murals from my window. I'm so excited about that because it screams Milwaukee. Like when you see those things, it's such iconic pieces.
It really does, and the community's responded really positively. So we've built a lot of partnerships. It does take partnerships to get these large art projects done, and people are really responsive. And sometimes there are ideas that come up from our office, or sometimes there's property owners or others that bring those ideas, and we're always happy to partner on those.
I do want to ask too, as they're coming to me, the questions. Thinking about all the memorabilia at the Giannis mural right now, are you planning on just leaving those out for as long as they last there?
That's the plan. So I think everything's been really positive, and so right now I don't see those coming away.
And now I want to talk Bob Uecker, because obviously this mural, I mean, it's amazing. And the tailgate party sounds super exciting. And I mean, there's no way to get people to something in Wisconsin than free beer and brats. So great incentive there. But kind of talk about, so it begins at 11:30. If people are interested in going, what should they know?
Yeah, so the parking lot in front of the mural will open up at 11:30. Again, courtesy of Molson Coors, those first 500 folks that have an ID of legal drinking age that want to join in a toast after the formal program, which we expect to conclude around 12:30. There'll be a toast to Bob at the end of that, and then we'll continue on with the celebration in the parking lot. Like I said, there'll be tailgate games. The Brewers mascots, the Racing Sausages, will be there. After the formal program, we'll also distribute the 500 brats to the first 500 folks that are there as well, and then we'll just continue on to celebration until about 2:30 in the afternoon.
Super exciting event you guys got going on, and we will be streaming it right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Can't wait to see it come to life and the community come together as they have with the Giannis mural as well. Matt Dorner, thank you so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Really appreciate you taking the time, and have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Yeah. We're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Again, that was Matt Dorner, CEO of Milwaukee Downtown Bid 21, talking about the new Bob Uecker mural. As you can see right here, let's give you one more look outside. Gorgeous mural. It's been so cool to see it come to life from this camera. We've been taking it throughout the past few weeks, just seeing the pieces come together. And shout out to Mauricio Ramirez, the artist for this piece, as well as the Giannis mural as well. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Sam Kramer standing by here, going to take you all the way to 3:30. Might not be ready yet when we come back, so it might be me or it might be him. So you're going to want to find out. So basically what you should do is stick around after this break. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hello, everybody. Sam Kramer here with you on this third hour of the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is Friday, June 26th. So glad you're with us here, wherever you are watching, whether it be on a streaming platform, Fox Local, or, again, so many other places where this program now is, because that is the future of news. And I'm excited for this next interview. We're going to get right into it with Jim Owczarski. He is the Bucks beat reporter for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. There he is. Jim, can you hear me all right?
I got you.
All right. So you've been a busy guy the last couple of days. And the reason we are talking is because you published this article, headline in the Journal-Sentinel, how the Giannis Antetokounmpo era in Milwaukee came to a bitter end. And seldom do we point to other journalists' work here and say, going to read this. But I think you are one of a handful of people that would be able to write this piece just because of your beat work. I don't need you because it's a novel. And it's a detailed novel front to back. Certainly you don't need to play all into that. But what are the key takeaways as to how this Giannis era, which has really flourished in Milwaukee, suddenly just came to an end?
Yeah, I think the key thing is it wasn't one thing, right? In any relationship, professional, personal, there's not a singular moment, people can kind of look to, or where did this go wrong? It was a years long sort of process. I had someone equate it to paper cuts, right? Like you just kind of, the first one hurts and the next one hurt, and maybe you forget about those two, and then a third one shows up, and then you remember those first two, and so it was just sort of this process. And also what's important to know is at any moment in the last few years, it could have went the other way. We might not be having this conversation. A relationship could have been salvaged, or other things could have been done to say, like, hey, Giannis is about to sign a fourth extension in Milwaukee in October. So that's really the takeaway, is that there wasn't one thing. It was a lot of little things over a long period of time that led to the trade, the agreed upon trade on June 22nd.
And as I read this, it's not like it's just ownership. It's not like it's just the general manager, John Horst, or whoever's head coach. Giannis has a hand in this too. And you guys had some honest conversations over the last several years about, because this has been playing out. What did you find from him in those conversations as far as maybe his role in this?
Yeah, and credit to Giannis. He was always willing to speak to me and my colleague Lori Nickel at the Journal-Sentinel about a lot of these things and answering questions that people wanted to know. But yeah, he is particularly this year with just sort of his manners in some way, for lack of a better word. The way he acted on the court, a lot of his post-game messaging, honestly, welcoming a league investigation into his employer about how he's being handled at the end of the year. And look, that maybe he was right to do that as a frustrated employee, but that's also going to make people feel a certain way, right? And so, yeah, he definitely had a hand in just the hurt feelings, and the maybe there was no coming back after a certain point because of, man, I just don't feel good about our relationship because of the things you have said and done. So no, for sure, this was not the blame. If blame is the word, it's definitely can be spread around. It is not a one person, one entity type of thing. Is everyone had their hands in this end result, which is the trading of the greatest player in franchise history.
I ask this next question. It is a storied chapter, and I think it will always be, right? I imagine several years down the road, 34 will be hanging in the rafters. I wouldn't be surprised if 22 is too with Middleton. And it will always kind of be remembered rosily, I think, before he ended the title drought. But moving forward, this is a team that has an extremely young core, a new head coach, Jimmy Haslam kind of sinking in his teeth now as the principal owner. What, if anything, do they learn from this, I guess, divorce, for the lack of a better term?
Yeah, I think, well, some lessons have already been learned.
Yeah.
Same way, and I think part of that is the hiring of Taylor Jenkins. Taylor is a tie back to the Mike Budenholzer era and the beginning of all of this great run of basketball. To your point, it will be remembered very fondly. Like this moment is painful. This story is painful. But yes, look, the 5-year anniversary is just in a couple weeks of the championship, right? And that will be celebrated. And so, yeah, I think one of the lessons learned is how a culture and I want to say good vibes, because look, it's a season, things go up and down, but communication, like what the lack of communication, or maybe roster decisions that maybe look great on paper but really need to be examined and gamed out in a long view. And look, at sports, sometimes that just can't happen, but I think those are lessons that can be learned. And honestly, if learn might not even be the right word. Like if John Horst is going to be here in the long term, he already was a huge part in building it to begin with. And so I do think bringing in Taylor Jenkins, a tie to that pass, a very good basketball coach, those two have done it here in Milwaukee. So yeah, Sam, I think sort of getting back to that and that idea, and yeah, they're going to have to start it again without Giannis. It's going to be much harder, right? Like, it's going to be really, really hard to win a championship in the next couple of years without that guy. But if the plan is to build again, I think they have learned some lessons, or at least been reminded of some lessons to take going forward.
I was going to say, it speaks to culture, and a couple of the details that you have in the piece. And again, I would push people to go read this because it is so thorough, which again speaks to your time just covering this beat. As far as Doc Rivers takes over, you talk about the golf simulator installed at the Bucks practice facility. You talk about the redesigning or repainting of the wall that had Giannis's branding on it, and then they change it to Together, and Together is misspelled. It seems the culture eroded. And you point to lessons learned already. Taylor Jenkins, to me, bright basketball mind, but it is a culture hire, is it not?
Yeah, I think so, because Taylor, again, was part of the early staff, and it was just 1 year before he got a job in Memphis, and we saw what he did in Memphis with a very young team. I mean, a lot of second-year players, and then John Morant, he drafted. The Bucks currently don't have a John Morant type, but everybody else in Memphis got better, and that, without a doubt, Giannis even said to me after Taylor was hired that Taylor's going to bring that culture and that culture building and that togetherness to the Bucks, because you saw it early with Bud here and in Memphis with his own team. I mean, look, every kind of iteration of a team has its end, and it ended in Memphis for him. But at its peak, you knew the Memphis identity under Taylor Jenkins, right? And so, yeah, like you mentioned some of those anecdotes, and on their own, maybe it's they're quirky, or you can grin about it, or just slap your forehead about it. But they were examples of what became a larger issue. And one thing, and honestly, those are small details. Taylor Jenkins sweats the small details. When I talked to Mike Budenholzer about Taylor being hired, and other people around the league who've worked with Taylor, the detail part of him is a strength, is well known. And so I don't think things like that are going to happen again. Where whenever the Jenkins era, however, wherever it goes, I don't think we're going to be seeing that type of thing in the postmortem of that, right? So yeah, Taylor is a culture hire. It's a resetting of it. And I do think that's why the trade was kind of made. A lot of people were exhausted. And I'm sure a coach would love to have an MVP player on their team, without a doubt. But if you're going to reset, if you're going to start anew, it might be best to give your new head coach new tools to do that with.
Yeah, there is no baggage. You can just really fresh slate the entire thing, to which leads me to my next question, which is, until this trade is official, I'm imagining, we won't necessarily hear on the record from Horst, maybe from Haslam as well. What's the one question that you just cannot wait to ask either one of them about this ending and how we got here.
So yes, you're right. Both John Horst, they just conducted the draft, and he has said multiple times, I can't speak about this per league rules. So yes, but in that moment, I think what publicly ownership, Jimmy Haslam, Wes Edens, and John Horst had said, well, there were two paths. Giannis can extend, Giannis can trade. Obviously, Giannis may have communicated an unwillingness to extend. We don't know for sure because it's not October yet. I'd be curious to know when they, as the team, they decided that there was only one path, right? Was it a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago, months ago? And just sort of, when it was determined in their mind, it was time to move on. Because, it would just be interesting to know when they were kind of done with the partnership and were ready to reset the franchise.
And just think about the decision, too. You can't take it lightly. His footprint, his thumbprint is all over the city. It's like politics. Nobody wants to be the GM that traded away the best player in franchise history. But for all the reasons you've presented, I think you can start to understand perhaps why that happened. Those are all the questions I have for you. Any parting thoughts you want to share that I didn't touch on?
No. Thank you so much for having me on. This was a pleasure to speak with you, and thank you all for watching, listening to, and please read it at jsonline.com. Thank you.
Absolutely. He's Jim Owczarski, again, Bucks beat reporter for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Jim, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Alrighty. So, again, that's kind of been the story all week, right? The story that everybody has been chasing, everybody's been following. It's been rumored, anonymously sourced through the ESPNs of the world, and just all of a sudden comes to a head. And I guess I probably should have explained a little bit earlier of why Jim's perspective here is particularly important. Because media access, beat access to the Milwaukee Bucks is tiered. So Jim travels with the team just about every game, shows up for just about every practice. And so his job professionally is to live, eat, breathe, sleep Milwaukee Bucks basketball. He gets to know, just by virtue of being there, of relationship building, of connecting with people in different parts of the franchise to actually be able to put together the full story, right? If the general manager has an agenda that really doesn't want something out, well, there may be other people around the organization that can say, yeah, he's not going to tell you this, but this is actually the truth. Now, part of the reason that these beats are so important is because they get different levels of access. For example, when I have gone to cover Milwaukee Bucks games, when we're hearing that there are rumors, I can remember when I was back there in early to mid-January. It was Greek night. It was Giannis's first game since ESPN said he specifically wants to talk with the Bucks about his future and perhaps exploring a trade. He gets hurt that night, and it changes everything. We had gone to the press room that the Bucks have for after post-game press conferences, where you hear from Doc Rivers, at the time the head coach, and maybe a player or two. Then that's it. Whoever they bring in, that's all you get to hear from for the TV stations. But if you are on the beat, you are brought into the locker room, and then you get to have more candid conversations with all of the players that are there. That particular example I mentioned, that Giannis, after being hurt, it's typical NBA policy that you don't have to talk to the press. They want you to focus on your injury and frankly, what just happened. So that wouldn't have been something that we would have explored, but you can get different perspectives on the issue than just the people that are brought on to you, if that makes sense. So, as I mentioned, there are just a handful of beat reporters. The Journal-Sentinel has one. The Athletic, which is connected to the New York Times, has one. There are a couple others. Jim sourced, he talked to 50 different people over the last several weeks, years even. Again, this has been going on for a while. Speaking to what he mentioned there there's a feeling of a cloud being lifted because it has been hanging over the franchise over the last several years, really ever since perhaps the season or two after they won the title, with the expectation of, well, they already did it once. When are they going to do it again? It's just a riveting piece. So, again, if you get a chance, check it out, jsonline.com. Jim Owczarski, the Bucks beat reporter, really with an in-depth postmortem story there. We're going to step away for a quick break. When we return, that is, excuse me, we are going to check in on the World Cup with Fox's Chelsea Torres. And U.S. men's national team didn't necessarily end the way that they wanted to last night, but They're through to the knockout stage, and that is really all that matters right now. So stay with us. You're watching the Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll be right back.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Sam Kramer with you here on this Friday. It is June 26th, and we're right in the heart of the FIFA World Cup 2026. Again, we talked about it late last night, literally at one of the last kicks of the match, if you will. Turkey, as they are now known internationally, shocked the United States with a 3-2 win, wrapping up the group stage there. But it doesn't matter. The United States already clinched its spot in the round of 32. It's known as the knockout stages. So now it's sudden death. If they win, they move on. If they lose, they fall back. But there are still group matches being played, even right now, that are deciding kind of where this tournament goes. And for that, we bring in Chelsea Torres, Fox Ace reporter, who I understand is in, Foxborough, Massachusetts, technically, just outside Boston?
Yep, you got it right. I'm right outside Boston Stadium, France, Norway. As of right now, France is up 3-1, at least last I checked. So correct me if I'm wrong, Sam.
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah, it's going pretty well so far.
That's the score I still have, and that's a battle of the heavyweights. France was in the final match in the last World Cup. But imagine you've been talking to fans on both sides, which again, Norway has emerged as a bit of a soccer powerhouse with some key stars. But tell us about the story leading into this one, and what do you know?
Yeah, hey Sam, well, I mean, this is something that a lot of fans were telling me. Yes, we're excited, we want to see a good match, but the prediction was that France would probably win this game. That's what a lot of fans were telling me on both sides, and that's truly because just like USA and Turkey, this is a game where both France and Norway, they sit at the top of their standings in Group I. They each have 6 points, so they're already going to the next round, right? They're already advancing. There's no reason for them to really, if they lose or win, it won't make much of a difference. So a lot of fans said, hey, we just want to be here for a good time and have a lot of fun. And for a lot of the Norwegians that I talked to, they said, listen, if we rest our star players and move on and just focus on the next game, I'd be happy with that. And that's exactly what Norway did. Very similar to what Pochettino did with USA's team, making those 9 changes. Here in Norway, you have that 6'4" striker, Erling Haaland, and he really is the one guy that a lot of people have been looking at, like, hey, he's the next superstar here in the World Cup, along along with France's forward Kylian Mbappe, who's also starting today. But when you look at Norway, they sat a lot of those starters. They have their twos in right now. And I mean, hey, at least they were able to get a score up on the board, right? Especially against a FIFA favorite like France. And so that's really the big storyline here, is kind of seeing what would happen with today's game, even when you have Norway's number twos in. Just like we saw with USA and Turkey, USA had their number twos in as well, and still were able to get some points on the board. So overall, looking good. A lot of fans are very excited, and they're really pumped up. You definitely saw a lot of, it really is like half Norway, half French fans, but you see a mix of Mexico fans, a lot of USA fans, a lot of other kinds of fans from different countries here too. And one gentleman told me, hey, we're here, we're having a good time, and it's so cool to see everybody together.
Yeah, it's interesting, the strategy to it all, right? They're just kind of vying for perhaps seating where they want to be in that bracket. And for France, again, probably being the top-ranked team in the world, should they win this group, they like where they go moving forward. And Norway, I think, I'm just kind of happy to be moving forward. Again, like you said, Erling Haaland, they are talented.
Yeah.
They're going to rest their talent for now. The Norwegian fans, like the Scottish fans, have been really fun to perhaps follow on social media, on TV news coverage, as we've seen. What have you taken from perhaps the Viking swarm, if you will, of all these Norwegian fans just so dedicated to following their national team play?
I love that. Yeah, I mean, they've both stolen our hearts, right?
Yeah.
The Scottish have stolen the Boston American hearts, and so have the Norwegians. Actually, I met a Boston native, and he went out and he bought the Viking hat. He bought the whole garb, and he said, you know what, I'm rooting for Norway today. He wants USA to win the entire tournament, but he said for today, he's going to be a Norway fan. He did the whole row for me as well. And I think that's what's so cool, right? You have all of these different countries that do their own traditions, that do their own things, and they get so hype. And, you know, at least here in Boston, I've seen so many Norway fans just walking around. They're pumped. I have to tell you, actually yesterday when I was walking around, Sam, it was so hard for me to even find a Frenchman. I thought, are the fans even here? And one Norwegian said, you know, we took over France thousands of years ago. Maybe they still have that in the back of their mind. So I think they're just very passionate. They're ready to be out here and kind of show off who they are. And yeah, I think that's what's the beauty part of the World Cup. You have all of these different countries that maybe we don't talk to on a regular basis throughout the year. We don't really hear from them. And now we really get to kind of see their true colors and their character. And again, I mean, they've stolen America's hearts.
It's been so funny to watch on like TikTok in particular, the people commenting, like, it feels like it's just a big sleepover with these countries coming over and discovering America for the first time, and just the true, like, authentic reactions to going to Buc-ee's, to hanging out in the pubs, and which, again, is such a unique, I guess, American experience when it comes to soccer. I think if most people are watching, it's probably the Premier League, so there's a good 8-hour difference. These bars are opening up at like 6 in the morning just for people to come watch. Like, it's not that popular. But when the game comes here, it is completely different. I'm curious, and you kind of touched on this earlier too, but people there in Boston, I have to imagine they are loving it. It just kind of seeing all these folks come and explore their city and just find out what's great about it for the first time.
Oh, 100%. I mean, so many Boston natives that I talked to yesterday, they said this is amazing just to have this in our backyard, to see so many people, again, from all over the world come right here. One gentleman, actually, he's from Norway, and he said his friend was supposed to come with him. He wasn't able to get his visa approved, so he's still waiting for that to be approved, and hopefully he can make it to the knockout rounds. But while he's been here alone, kind of just exploring America, he said he's already made lifelong friends with Brazilians and people from Ecuador and Mexico. He said it's been the best part of his time here. Another Norwegian man also told me that just the game that he had in New York City was the best night of his life, even though it completely rained. So I think for a lot of these people, this is something that either maybe they did grow up with, they didn't grow up with. For Boston natives and you know, Americans, this is something that maybe we're not so used to. For a lot of people, they don't maybe follow soccer as much, and now they get to see what the world's biggest tournament is all about. And I think that's awesome. This is exactly what Americans needed right now.
Yeah, just leading into the summer, perfect time to really just be in the country and enjoy everything about it. It is still 3-1 France at halftime over Norway, so nothing has changed. But in case it does, Chelsea Torres will be on it for us in Foxborough, Massachusetts, again covering the match for us. Chelsea, as always, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sam.
Absolutely. Again, it's been so funny. if you're not on TikTok, if you're not on Instagram Reels, I know those two are a bit of a vertical video rivalry, right? Just go search Norway, just go search Scotland and the fans and see what happens, see what pops up. The just organic friendships that have been born by this tournament are so cool. It's so cool to see, and for us, so cool to see from afar. I mean, I think the closest American host city to us is Kansas City. Not too bad of a drive, but for it's not necessarily easy, short enough to be able to scoot out after work or just go down and back to go actually catch one of those matches. But these host communities have been so welcoming in so many different ways. I've talked about it. Lawrence, Kansas. The University of that's where the University of Kansas is. They wrapped their arms around Algeria, which found itself facing another heavyweight in Argentina. The University of Kansas band learned their national anthem. They gave them a campus tour in which they got to explore Allen Fieldhouse, storied basketball arena where the game of basketball, James Naismith actually founded it, and just really kind of wrap their arms around this tiny, or at least in proportion, country in national team merit status, if you will, Algeria, and just kind of wanted them to know that they're welcome here, that they're paying attention to them, and that they wish them well, which I think is really cool. The Scots absolutely took over Boston. They then went to New York and said, you know what, we like Boston better, which Red Sox fans have been trying to explain for hundreds of years. So looking at our sources here, this is live look at the Nomad World Pub, our exclusive camera there over their Fan Zone No E. You see the painting here during the day fairly well there on that storage container, shipping container, if you will, on the top left corner of your screen. Trying to see who we got. What are the jerseys we got? There's a yellow and blue. That could be Ecuador, could be Colombia. I'm not entirely sure in the bottom left corner. But again, France leads Norway right now 3-1 at halftime. Ousmane Dembele, striker for the French national team, is a hat trick in the first half, which you don't often see. Leo Messi, the Argentinian superstar, also had a first hat trick in his first match, but it wasn't all in the first half, so at least one-upping there. I want to show you the matches that we have going on still today. So again, it is France taking on Norway right now. Then at 8 o'clock, Uruguay takes on Spain, followed by New Zealand taking on Belgium at 10 o'clock. We're going to step away for a quick break. Stay with us. You're watching the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hello again, Sam Kramer back with you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Just crossed over 3 o'clock Central Time on this Friday, June 26th. So glad that you are with us until 3:30. Until next week when we extend all the way up to 4 o'clock. We are looking forward to that. So again, big story of the week, right, has been the fact that the Bucks indeed did trade away their superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis, not to be forgotten, colloquially known as the mayor of Milwaukee in just popularity. Those Bobby chants inside that building there, FOX6 Forum, will be remembered for a long time. And day by day, we've been chronicling the fact that this isn't just a basketball move. It is a community loss. It is a cultural loss. It's a financial loss for the city of Milwaukee and really the greater Milwaukee area in terms of really the kind of micro economy that Giannis Antetokounmpo generated just in the superstar that he was. Giannis and his wife Mariah did a lot to give back, and they did that in a number of ways. They volunteered often with the Milwaukee Diaper Mission, the foundation, the Charles Antetokounmpo Foundation, named after his late father, did a lot of giving back. They opened businesses as well. But Giannis was always very keen with his time and trying to pay it forward to the generation. Our next guest is certainly an example of that. His name is Easton King. Easton is now the student manager at the UW Lacrosse men's basketball team. Easton, thanks for joining us on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I can remember seeing this story. I wasn't working here at FOX6 yet, but I remember my colleague Ashley Sears hanging out with you in 2019, which doesn't seem all that long ago, but you were just 12 years old when you had this wish granted. But tell you what, I don't need to tell the story. You tell the story of what you wanted and, frankly, what the Bucks were able to put together for you.
Yeah, so my make-wish was to go meet Giannis because he's always been like my favorite athlete. And the Make-A-Wish organization hooked me up with that, and I was able to meet Giannis and have the whole day with the Milwaukee Bucks, which is actually more than what I asked.
All right.
And I got to see a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, and I got to sign a one-day contract with the team. Overall, it was just an amazing experience and something I will never forget in my life.
I'm going to say, look how young you look.
I know.
And how quickly time has moved on, just over 7 years. What stood out about Giannis that day, and just kind of how much time he spent with you and the attention he gave you?
It really just meant a lot to me because, I mean, he's a professional athlete. He has a lot on his plate, and for him to, take time out of his day after practice to talk to me, and then during shoot around before the game, it just meant the world to me, and it was just nothing like you would ever expect.
What did you guys talk about? And I understand you maybe asked him for something during the game.
I can't exactly remember what we talked about, but at that time, my favorite video game was Fortnite, and I think I asked him what his Fortnite account was, something like that. But he said he didn't really have a lot of time to play video games, which, I mean, that's to be expected.
I suppose when you're an NBA superstar. I have here, based on Ashley Sears, who again, who remember the story well and hanging out with you. She said that you asked him for a windmill dunk. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Did he deliver?
I think it was during practice
Okay.
he did that, but
Okay.
not during the game.
You got rare access to really a superstar. And I'm curious, as you look back on this experience now, 7 years later, like, what are you going to remember now that he's no longer a Milwaukee Buck?
I'll just remember, all the hard work and dedication he put towards the Bucks organization, and how he helped the community in Milwaukee and just Wisconsin as a whole. And he's really inspired a lot of people. I know he's inspired me, and that whole day the Bucks organization and Giannis inspired me. And now after I saw behind the scenes and how everything worked, I'm looking to maybe pursue a career in basketball operations just because of how much I was inspired that day.
I was going to ask you about that because I feel the role you're in now with the EW lacrosse, is it men's basketball team?
Yes.
I mean, that's a perfect look at, again, the operations. And I just have to imagine this day that you got to spend, thanks to Make-A-Wish, thanks to the Bucks and Giannis, really seeing the ins and outs of what happens beyond just the 4 quarters of that game opens your eyes to, hey, maybe I can make something here of my own.
Yeah, for sure.
When the news broke, what was your reaction?
I was, of course, saddened by it. Didn't really feel real, but, I trust John Horst to make the right decision. And personally, I felt like that was the best long-term decision that the Bucks could make.
Yeah, no matter how many hearts it shatters, I guess, in the meantime, of us Bucks fans. I would close with this. We've been looking at some of the stories that we have posted ever since the trade. Giannis has been liking a number of them through social media. If he is to see this interview and you get a chance to say something to him, what would it be?
Just carry what you brought to Wisconsin and Milwaukee and, carry that over to Miami, Florida, and you will bring them the championship.
No doubt about it. He's Easton King, the Make-A-Wish recipient. Now he is the manager for the EW Lacrosse men's basketball team. Again, got to spend some unique time with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Easton, thanks so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and by all means, let us know when you get that big basketball operations job. Come back for an interview. We'll talk to you again.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Again, just perfect example of Giannis being forthcoming with his time, not just being a character-driven person, but embodying that and just putting that forward, displaying it for the community, for the team. You could understand if a superstar of his caliber would just say, you know what, I'm going to focus on what I need to do. There's a lot of stress on my shoulders, a lot of expectations, but no, time after again, he gave his shoes away. He gave his jerseys away, towels, other accessories, and just spent time with kids, with parents, with families, struggling or not, or just sitting somewhere in Fiserv Forum, even to the Bradley Center back in the day. And I think that helps to craft the legacy that will live on long after, again, the drama and the cloud that's been kind of hanging over the organization the last couple of years, amidst the rumors of, is he staying, is he going, is he signing a contract, or are they trading the best player in franchise history? We know what happened. But again, as time has gone on, it's feeling more and more that the people we talk to say, you know what, we understand it came to this point. We thank him for the memories. We wish him well, and it's on to the next chapter in Bucks basketball. So that puts a bow on that. I think we're going to step away for a quick break. When we return, we'll check in with weather expert Stephanie Barrichello, who is tracking some major changes in the forecast. At least that is where things left off at about midnight last night when we got off the air. It's a pretty nice day today. But boy, are things changing. And some of you are saying it's about time things are changing. We'll have the details coming up here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back. It's the Wisconsin Live Desk. Sam Kramer with you on this Friday, June 26th, getting y'all set for the weekend. And certainly we can't do that in the summer, perhaps really any time of year, without talking about the weather. And as we do that, I just want to get set up here. This is a look at our airport camera, again, pointed toward Mitchell International Airport, Sun Country. I'm not sure if it's taking off or landing, but taxiing nevertheless. Okay, look at the sky. You can kind of see off in the distance, perhaps a little bit of fog. Now look at our Estabrook Park Tower camera. I'm telling you, this is our Estabrook Park Tower camera, which is a little bit higher in the air, and as we are seeing right now, dealing with some fog. Not necessarily what we want to be seeing, but that is what it is. You know what? You don't want to hear me talking about it. Let's go to Stephanie Barkello, who's hanging out in the weather office. Steph, how are you?
I'm good. I was watching this camera the same as you.
Okay, so I was telling Delaney, our producer, yesterday I was going to South Milwaukee for the block party at Moran's Pub.
Yeah.
Driving down, I'm like, okay, sunny day, everything's good. Get over the Hone Bridge. And all of a sudden, it's like I drove into the cloud.
Oh, yeah.
Visibility was limited in front of us. I couldn't see the lake as we were going over the bridge, which is a little bit concerning.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, so what's up with this like very localized fog that we're seeing?
Yeah, we're still seeing a lot of marine fog. So it's basically just fog that has settled out over Lake Michigan. But even with this, light breeze off the lake, it's moving it in. It is thanks in part to some of our cooler temperatures as well. That it's at least a little bit of a temperature change. But we saw it yesterday. We saw it the day before. Once we get rid of this lake breeze and a bigger temperature difference, then we'll be able to shake the fog, which we certainly will do in the next couple of days. But for now, it is pretty fascinating. I actually live just a couple blocks from the lake north of Milwaukee, and we've been dealing with it on and off much of the day. Not as thick as, what it looks like in this camera view, but you sit outside and all of a sudden you feel it. You feel some of the moisture moving in and you look up and it's a little hazy. But that's absolutely something we will likely deal with, especially at the Summerfest grounds going forward this evening. The next couple of nights, I think a lesser chance for it, but for now we clearly still have it with us and it'll be in and out over the next couple of hours. Other than that, we've just been locked under some of this cloud cover. Peaks of sun here or there, but it's been a pretty overcast Friday and a pretty cool Friday as well. We are barely at 60 degrees in Milwaukee, and even here at the station, we're a little farther away from the lake, 66 degrees. So it's a cooler than average day, absolutely. Now looking at satellite and radar, we're dry though. South of us, there's some rain. Northwest of us, there's some rain. We are likely staying dry throughout the remainder of the evening. We'll watch some of these sprinkles along the Wisconsin-Illinois border. Those may creep northward into some of our far southern communities just the next couple of hours. Otherwise, everything out west, that's likely going to fizzle after sunset. And I'm happy to report sunshine is back in the forecast for Saturday, and Sunday is looking pretty good as well. We do need to watch for a potential system later Sunday evening, but at this point in time, most of the day looks really nice. Now, if you are planning on heading down to the Summerfest grounds, I think that 63 by 6 p.m. is a little optimistic. We're pretty cool out there right now. So unless we see more sunshine peeking through, which is possible, we are likely going to stay around 60 from here and then fall into the 50s, maybe a little bit quicker. So that means if you're staying late, notice I have midnight on there because how many of us have been there until midnight, right? Likely going to be a bit chilly. So kind of treat it like last night. Last night was certainly a cooler night as well. Saturday is going to be a bit better, but still cooler lakeside. It's next week that's going to feel very different. The heat, the humidity, it builds back in very quickly. In fact, by Monday, we are going to jump to 90s. That means in Milwaukee, mid-70s Sunday, low 90s Monday. That's a huge, huge jump in temperatures. Now, quickly bringing you through the statewide Fox model here. The rest of tonight, eventually these clouds are going to decrease and then sunshine is back pretty much statewide on Saturday. There might be a little bit in far northwestern Wisconsin, but that system in northern Minnesota lifting north throughout the day Saturday. So I think most of the state Saturday is looking really good to kickstart the weekend. We are going to watch a potential complex of storms that may start in northern Wisconsin Sunday morning, but notice how we see more development behind that, maybe throughout the afternoon. That may actually clip some of our communities closer to dinner time on Sunday. Now, not every model has that. A few do, though. So right now, slight chance for a few thunderstorms later Sunday, but think evening hours. So if you're still going to be out and about, or maybe you're commuting back home from up north or from down in Chicago, you might be dealing with a few showers and thunderstorms. And again, your weekend forecast shows that it is still going to be a little cooler lakeside. So the heat does not necessarily build in this weekend. It really is early next week. Saturday, so tomorrow, a mix of low, mid, and upper 70s. We're going to be all across the board there in southeast Wisconsin. We will see 80s returning by Sunday inland, but lakeshore communities still pretty pleasant, and we'll just watch that chance for storms later Sunday evening. Past that, throw out the books, right? It's going to be a hot one. Temperatures by Monday, likely low 90s. I mean, by the mid to late week, we could even see mid 90s in a handful of communities. And combined with dew points well into the 70s, that does mean a prolonged stretch. We're talking maybe Monday to Friday of heat indices of 100 plus, at max, maybe even over 105 degrees. So I would say as soon as Monday, we're looking at the possibility of heat advisories. I do think the hottest days will be mid to late week, so maybe Wednesday to Thursday or Wednesday to Friday. Models are split on the 4th. The 4th of July, Sam, as you know, is a week from tomorrow. I'm watching it closely because I plan the parade in my village, and I'm very nervous about it. Last year was so hot and humid. Some models have the heat and humidity still. Others actually bring in a little bit of relief, so it's just way too early to tell right now. But I promise you, that day is on my radar. I'm going to watch very quickly, or very closely, that is.
And as you mentioned, it's not just, I think some people will see perhaps the 6th day and say, oh, 90s, great, it's about time. But with that dew point, with the heat indices, this could be dangerous and actually kind of quickly, right?
Right, and I think more so the fact that it's going to last so long, and we're talking no relief during our overnight hours. You know, during these prolonged heat stretches or stretches of high heat, a lot of times it's those nighttime hours that are dangerous because we don't get the break, because we're still going to see low temperatures, likely mid 70s. Most of the time, humidity feels even worse overnight because that air temperature drops to the dew point. So unfortunately, with the fact that this could last all week, it's really just not looking good for southeast Wisconsin. So already plan ahead. Maybe if you have loved ones who don't have air conditioning or anywhere for relief, I'm sure soon we're going to hear of cooling centers. Just be on the lookout for that.
Just thinking too, probably wouldn't hurt to start mixing the Gatorades or extra water or whatever in just to hydrate now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that doesn't hurt. You know, it can help planning and consistently staying hydrated. And those are electrolytes. We can't forget about those because that really does help us they really do help us when we're sweating so much. And that humidity, the reason why we talk about feel-like temperatures and heat indices, not a made-up thing.
No.
You know, our body sweat can't evaporate with that high of humidity. So in all reality, think of the science behind it. Our bodies can't cool down when it's that humid. So I know we talk a lot about the heat. A lot of times the humidity too can just make it even worse with the fact that our bodies scientifically, you know, cannot cool down because of how high those dew points are.
So what I'm hearing is, if you want to go to Summerfest and maybe you're not so locked into an artist, go this weekend. Maybe not next weekend. Or if you do, just be prepared to sweat and sweat heavily. I mean, you bring up a good point about the parades, which are kind of all around the weekend.
Yeah.
I can think back to when I was working in Colorado. In southern Colorado, they had, I forget which municipality, it might have been Pueblo. Like the whole point of the parade, because it was almost always hot, is everybody has water guns and they cool each other down.
Oh, I love that.
It's great. Maybe that happens impromptu because it's just going to be so hot and sticky here.
It's so funny. I was speaking with, my hairdresser, my daughter had a hair appointment this morning, and she's also on one of the committees in our village. And so we were just going back and forth brainstorming. You know, maybe we have a cooler full of ices for the kids, and another station by the games where we just have those big Gatorade jugs full of water. Maybe we makeshift our own little misting tent. You know, it's interesting. You can really think through the options, but it just goes to show that people understand how hot it is going to be. So it's just worth planning ahead.
Yeah, okay. So you cannot say you have not been warned. Again, I think all of us are perhaps looking for it to be just a little bit warmer, right? The summer temperatures that we're used to.
Right, compared to today, yes.
Right, and so we're going to get there, but again, it comes a bit with a little bit of a trade-off. So, yeah. Always a busy week in your office. I think I've said that like just about every time I've hosted here. So we appreciate you today and every day, Steph.
Well, thank you. I will see you guys soon at 4.
All right. See you in a bit. So, yeah, there you go. Again, we do not bring it up to say to be Chicken Little, the sky is falling. It's not. But it is going to be hot. It is going to be humid. And again, with the heat indices trending right now, at least, looking like they're going to be at 100 or even higher, that is dangerous, particularly for people that are considered to be in sensitive groups. If you have asthma, COPD, or just struggle with the heat, if you're elderly, if your housing arrangements don't perhaps have the most reliable air conditioning, that sort of thing. It's a good time to be a good neighbor and just kind of check on those people around you, check on your friends, check on your family now before it kind of ramps up, to give people at least an opportunity to prepare, to call the HVAC company, to get some things on ice, to get some water in a good position, and just be aware of what is coming, because it is a big change headed our way. So we're going to step aside for one more quick break. When we return, we'll put a bow on things here. This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
It is 3:28 on your Friday. Sam Kramer with you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk for the next 2 minutes and counting. Want to, again, pointing to Summerfest this weekend, let's talk about who you could go see if you want to at the American Family Amphitheater. Jesse Murph, Cody Johnson tonight. And then tomorrow, drumroll please, Post Malone with Carter Faith. Big weekend happening there. Fox 6, proud sponsor, TV sponsor of the T-Mobile stage today. There you see across Greg Koch and the Koch Marshall Trio, the band Lula, Marcus King Band. Then tomorrow, Solidified, Maris, and Audrey Nuno. So big shows happening all across Summerfest. Let's take a look outside as we get you ready for your weekend. These traffic cameras provided by State Department of Transportation. This is I-41 southbound, some pretty heavy traffic at Appleton Avenue. As the ongoing construction there, you can see what is normally the northbound lanes are completely blocked off. All of the traffic split in two directions, in two lanes, I should say, on what is normally the southbound side. So long project happening there, which again, if you drive that area, you certainly know that. We look over at Mitchell International Airport. Things pretty good, not too bad if you're jet setting this weekend. We're going to have some nice weather, so maybe that's on you. But let's check back on the Estabrook Park Tower camera. Oh, look, the sky is back.